They clambered through a lake of pain and bargained with a sage, at last to enter death's domain and plead for Earth's last age. Hello. Welcome once more to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is the finale of our short campaign of Casket. This is an occult western game by Marie Enger that is set in the end times and is powered by the apocalypse. Just as one more reminder of these things, this channel is doing a donation drive for the Bail Project through our Sprawl campaign that we have on Thursday nights. That is the Bail Project being an organization that gives bail assistance to protesters, incredibly important right now. We are Team Phyllis, and a link for that is in chat, should there be any desire to go and check that out. Also, I always like to promote Campaign Zero, which is an organization dedicated to ending police violence, and they do a lot of research to try to set things up for that. So links to that are in chat as well. Let us go around. That's our final day here for in Casket Land. Let's go ahead and go around and say hi to everyone, find out who they are and who they're playing, and we will start once more with Alyx. Hello.
Hello. Can't believe it's the last day. Alyx, they, them. I play Tony Moon, she, they. I am the barber of Casket Land.
Excellent. Yes. And now let us head over to Kestrel. Hello.
Hi, I am Kestrel. I use she, her pronouns. I'm playing Amelia, who also uses she, her pronouns, and she is the drifter of Casket Land.
Awesome. And now over to Kenny. Hello.
Hello, I'm Kenny. I'm playing Ducks. It's he, him pronouns, and hopefully Ducks can stay out of trouble this session. I don't count on it, but, I hope for it.
One can.
And he's the gambler, yeah.
Indeed. Awesome. Now let us head over to Marlo. Hello.
Hi, I'm Marlo. I am playing Angie Black tonight. She is the barback. She is sassy and she is murderous. We both use she, her pronouns.
Yay! Very cool. And finally, over to Joel. Hello.
Hello, I'm Joel Kinsel, and I will be playing John Lazarus. We both use he, him pronouns, and John is a miner in town who is really going to be sad when you all eventually meet your inevitable death. I'll miss you guys.
Death's favorite miner, yes. Well, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we are moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that, again with an X, an O, or an N, to let us know if we are still doing okay. And here we are. So, last time, there was some folks took a dip in a lake full of bones to fetch forth the scythe of a god, one of the items on their shopping list that they could potentially go after to help them deal with the cult. And then afterward, they headed out eastward to Bake Town, that place in a little chasm, in a little canyon where the sun hits and makes everything incredibly hot. They got there in the late afternoon, so it wasn't too hot. Well, it's always too hot, but it wasn't burst into flames hot. Which was the current location of the homestead, the cottage of the Sage Hen, with whom they made a bargain, and Angie traded some of a special concoction that she had put together for the Sage Hen's cauldron, which was another item that would potentially help them in some way or another. And after that point, they climbed up out of the canyon as night was starting to fall. They could see across the vast expanse all the way over to the rusted butte, and the land dotted with hundreds upon hundreds, perhaps thousands of coffins, thousands of caskets, rather, more specifically. There's a difference, apparently. But thousands of caskets lining the countryside. Now, a thing that did happen also after the Lake of Bones, but before Baketown, was that Tony, the barber, was lured away for a little while. And I think it's going to be shortly before dark that they're going to come upon Tony once more. Tony, you'd spotted a. I think actually now I'm thinking about this. I think the way I want to do this is I want to say first what it is that they come across, and then we're going to flash back for a little bit, for a moment. So they have they're basically they're up in among the caskets. Where do they find you, and in what condition?
I walk out from behind the caskets, covered in blood, head to toe. I wring a little bit of wetness out of my clothes, wipe my face as best I can, and look at them. Don't ask.
I count Tony's toes.
I still have 9. And yes, let's say I'm missing my shoes. Why not?
So there was this moment as we're just sort of then we're going to pan up to the darkening sky, and we're going to go back in time a little bit, and where we see the just sort of as they're sort of dealing with sort of recovering from the Lake of Bones, where you had kind of heard this chittering sound that sounds almost like laughter, and Tony turns and sees this face that is sort of like that has sort of a white patch on it that is like skull-like on one side, and on the other side is the face that is much more like a lepus, like a rabbit, and above it horns, taunting horns, and then it seems to chuckle and go into the underbrush. Tell us what this looked like. Give us, if you will, a little slice, a montage, perhaps, of what your day looked like.
Well, as soon as I see it, I'm gone. No words. I say nothing to no one. I'm just off like a rocket. I have my scalpel out because it's easier to run with it than it is to run with the razor, and it's going fast enough that I have to work to keep up with it, but it's not as fast as I know it could be, and I know that this must be a trick of some sort, but it's so close and it's been so long since I've seen it. So I keep running and I keep chasing it, and it's leaping and jumping, and it makes one big leap, and I think that it's trying to get over some debris that I see, and then the ground is gone and I am in a pile of bodies. And everything is sticky and old and decayed, and I try to get out of the hole, and when I turn over to climb out, I see a very large jackalope. Its face is a skull, its head is adorned in 12-point antlers, and the little one is sitting right below it, and the big one is just looking down at me. And I can either crawl out on the side that the big one is on, or I can crawl out on the side that I came from. And I'm going to crawl out on the side I came from and very slowly make my way back toward the group.
Nice. Nice. Excellent. So, took a bit of time. But you managed to track them to the to this canyon that they've climbed up out of. And as I said, it is night is falling, and everyone can hear this sort of low keening sound, and that seems to be coming from everywhere initially. And so what I'd like to know is, now, this is the point at which it is possible you could try to find a place to camp for the night if you wish. Or you could keep going if you want to just be tired tomorrow. It's up to you. But it is getting darker. What's everyone doing?
How far is the travel from here to the perceived area of the well where the cult is?
It's probably going to take the better part of a day.
Okay. So we may need to be rested for that, because we're not going to get there overnight.
That makes sense.
Maybe we travel a little ways while it's still night, not as hot. Less travel to do tomorrow, but still get a decent sleep.
You're the one that wanders out here for a living. I'm willing to believe what you got to say.
I'm already exhausted from the bone pit, so...
Oh, poor you. And a pile of bones. Flick some blood out of my hair.
You know, them clothes would be clean if you just took them off and set them aside while you were doing your business. Just saying.
I have no good argument for that at this point.
You know, I'm 10 kinds of useless if I don't get my sleep at night, so I think we better take a little rest.
I don't want to fight anything out here on too little rest either.
So we should do a watches, right?
Bad stuff. Yeah, I think we should do watches of 2 at a time in case anything happens upon us.
I'll take first watch. I ain't sleeping anytime soon.
I'll join. I've had less wild fighting on this trip, so
I'll take a watch with Angie. The only person I really trust, besides maybe Amelia. So. I watched John stab himself. While saving me, I'm all kinds of confused about what that was about. So I don't.
And while naked.
And naked, yeah. So I do not want a repeat of that. Any of those parts. The naked, the stabbing.
The you having to be saved. I can see where you wouldn't want to do any of those. Yeah.
I located the item, John.
Yeah. I am not discounting your value in this endeavor. Wow. Those are big words John just would not have used. Wow. Oopsie.
What?
But yeah, couldn't have done it without you, Ducks.
That makes Ducks happy. And then he falls asleep. Straight up. Like, no statement. Like, just lays down.
Well, I guess I'll be the guy in the middle, or somebody. I mean, do we have two for the first?
Have two for the first. Maybe just do overlapping. Maybe I can take a little extra time because I'm probably less tired than some.
I will say that Loam is with you, but Loam also generally does not sleep. So it's really just depends on whether you want to count him or not.
Loam and John doing a watch. I'd
also
love
doesn't
to be
speak.
a fly on the wall
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
What is he going to do? Tap his stick until we pay attention?
Pretty much.
I'll take the middle watch with Loam.
Before I lay down to rest, I am going to walk a bit of ways and just like close my eyes and then like feel the air and the ground beneath my feet and then stop and then tap a spot on the ground. So this is I get to refill my canteen once per day because I'm awesome.
Yes.
Gonna bend down and tap my finger on the ground and a couple times and then grab my knife and just stick it in the ground and start turning it, and then a little bit of water just starts spurting up. Put my canteen underneath it and fill it. And then go lay down and go get some sleep.
Nice.
Because I can't give it to anybody else. It seems selfish, but that's all I can do.
Why? All right. So, yes, you've kind of you're in sort of an area that's there. You know, it's basically you're out under the stars at this point. What stars are left? And you hear the wind whipping. Who's on first watch? Remind me.
Tony.
Me and
Amelia.
Tony.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that it is during this first watch that the keening that you're hearing, this sort of this, just becomes a little louder and more defined, and it sort of sounds like a choir almost. This kind of like this. Sort of thing going on, as of like voices singing. And there's something, it's like, it's hard to explain. Actually, I don't necessarily have to explain it. There is something that Yes, there is something that each of you wants. And it's kind of like there's almost this hint of a whisper. That you kind of hear, and it's not really said in words. But it's this impression that you get from this singing that you're hearing. That it has the answer. And what you're able to sort of determine is that the singing seems to be coming from the direction of this particularly dense cluster of caskets that's just a bit a ways away from where you are right now. Just a little bit.
I'm gonna sit down next to Amelia. Amelia, are you sitting or standing? How are you during watch?
Sitting sort of on edge as the noise increases.
I'm gonna come and sit down next to you, and not too close because I'm still flaking bits of dried blood off of my hands and just kind of patting down my outfit. I've taken off the jacket. I'm just wearing the undershirt, and I'm trying to like shake out as much of the gunk as I possibly can. It's my nicest jacket, which wasn't that nice to begin with. The weather is a bit odd tonight, isn't it?
Yes, something is very unsettling. I don't like that the noise is growing. Like the noise. I don't know what it means. And that is concerning.
Yes, it's a bit like when there used to be trees and the wind would howl and sometimes it would sound like something was speaking in the night. There are no trees, only caskets, and, well, does it sound like it's getting closer or just louder?
I think it's nearby. I don't know if it is getting closer or we have just gotten closer to it.
We should. Oof. I don't know. If we went in search of the source of the sound, then we would, well, be leaving the camp unguarded. If we stay where we are and keep an eye out, and we might see what is coming when it comes. I vote for the latter, but, well, clearly I am open to running headlong into stuff.
It does seem to be coming. Maybe near those caskets? In them, behind them, beyond them, I don't know, but I don't particularly like the idea of leaving the camp. Just two of us facing it, who knows? What might come while we're gone, but I also don't particularly like the idea of going to sleep with this going on.
How about this? I've already looked my death in the eye once today. How about I'll take a walk down there, keep an eye on me, and if I vanish, wake everyone and run like hell. If I don't and I come back, then, well, it's just some strange sound.
Oh, perhaps it would be wiser for us to both go. Hey, Loam. Have you heard this before? Do you hear the chanting, singing noises? Alright, well, that's not a lot of help. Have you ever opened one of those caskets?
If you were an animal's paw, this would be 3 wasted wishes. Loam, could you watch the camp, and if we vanish, wake everyone up? All right. I think that's
Why don't
nice.
you give Loam the bell that I gave you, and then Loam can ring it if there's any danger or if we vanish.
That's a fine idea, actually. And I'm going to take off the bell, and I'm going to pick out the little bits of goo that had gotten stuck inside of it with my scalpel to make sure it still gives a good ring, and then hand it over to Loam. Well, Amelia, shall we?
Alright, let's go. She pulls, make sure she has the pitchfork easy to access, and pulls out her knife.
Okay.
I have my razor in one hand and my scalpel in the other, and walking side by side with Amelia as we make our way down to where the sound is coming from the caskets.
Okay. As you get closer to this cluster of caskets, you're able to almost make out things that could be words. It's hard to tell. It's like it's almost there. It's like it's almost a language, kind of like what things someone might have said once about the language. Is it like the language of an angelic chorus? It's like it's not quite any one language that you can hold inside your head. This very, you get closer, you sort of keep hearing this this sort of whispering that's happening alongside it, within it, through it. And I'm going to say that as the two of you get to the point that you're just a few yards from this group of caskets, there's one in the middle from which you can hear this whisper that slowly becomes "You are marked."
Does it say you're marked? Is that what we
Yeah.
hear? Step out and show yourself if there is something to be shown.
And you don't. This is basically still going basically here, and it definitely seems to be coming from one of the caskets. This
All right,
sound that
No, enough of this. I have chased the thing that I wanted most in this world, only to find it guarded by its gargantuan parent. I am bloody, not in the good way. I am tired. My clothes are ruined. This day is going to end now. And I'm going to kick the nearest casket. And when nothing happens, I'm going to keep kicking the caskets.
Okay. So you step forward and you begin kicking caskets.
Yeah, I'm putting all my weight into it, like how, you throw a tantrum and I can't
Yeah.
slam the door because it's already closed.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting my bare foot right up against it because I am still shoeless.
Excellent. Excellent.
I get my pitchfork
Like,
and hold it ready, waiting to stab at anything that might try to come out.
okay.
I like how Amelia isn't trying to stop Tony, just like letting this happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Not quite ready to join in herself, but just ready and waiting and letting it go.
So, Tony, I would like you to roll plus creep for me. I just would like to see what the result is, and then I will know what is about to happen. Oh, that's very good. Okay. All right. So, you're continuing to bash at these things.
Yeah, it's like I'm not
And,
gonna. It's like these are my annoying sibling, and I'm knocking on their doors until they open the fucking door and pay attention to me.
Oh, totally, totally. And you think you're actually the more you kick, the more you realize it's like, okay, I think I'm figuring out where this actually is coming from, and it's more towards one of the ones toward the back. And you're starting to head that way. And Amelia, as you're standing there, you hear from behind you a bit of a distance. It's not like it's right behind you, but it's like a little ways behind you. You hear you hear this whispering that is coming forth, and it's now calling your name.
Whirl around and hold the pitchfork at the ready and look to see if I can see anything.
And when I say it calls your name, I'm not saying it calls you the thing you're calling yourself. You see, over by a shriveled cactus, there is a lone casket. You were marked by those you escaped from, but you can gain power over them. I can give it to you.
How? How do I get power over them?
They have embraced death. But if you wield the power of death against them, they will bow to you.
What would it take?
I can show you if you wish.
How?
There's this little creak happening as the lid of the casket is slowly moving. And this little trickle of light is pouring out from inside. Just let us in.
What's Tony doing while this is going
Well,
on? Still kicking caskets?
Tony, you have come around and you have actually found, you think, you've managed, you think you've gotten to the one that is making this noise. And I just want to know if you are also going to kick it, or
Oh, yes.
if you're
No, I'm not even going to kick it. I'm going to try and pry it open. Like, I'm going to give it a thump with the heel of my hand. Open the hell up! And I'm going to slam my razor into the edge, and I'm just going to start trying to pry it open.
Okay. So Tony appears to be trying to pry open a casket right now on the other side.
Tony, do you hear this too?
Huh? What? You mean the I don't know, music, song, whatever the hell it is?
No, that one over there is talking to me.
Yeah, you think that it's dark, so you can't really see clearly, but you think that Amelia's pointing to another casket that's like off behind her.
Do I hear any talking?
No.
No, but I mean, look at me. I'm not one to judge. Which one are you hearing the noise from?
That one over there.
All right.
There's light and it's talking.
I'm gonna head over to the one that Amelia's pointing at or indicating.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see the light? Do I start hearing anything as I get closer to it?
No.
I'm gonna.
You're not hearing anything.
I'm gonna put my hand on it. This one?
Amelia walked along with her.
Okay.
Do I still see light coming from it and the lid moving?
When Tony heads over, as you turn around and you follow Tony, you see that it stopped. The light has stopped.
That one. There was light there a minute ago, and it was talking to me and trying to get me to, I don't know, make a deal with it, maybe? It said it can show me how to get power over the cults and stuff. Poke it with the pitchfork, kind of where the lid is resting on top.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier today, I climbed out of a giant rabbit's larder. If you tell me this one was talking to you, I believe you. But give me the pitchfork. I think between the two of us, we can probably pry the lid off.
So we start trying to pry the lid off using the pitchfork.
Look, it's better to know what's inside of it than to turn our back on it and then creepy shit starts happening again. And, well, look, just trust me on this. It's just face it head on. Otherwise, you end up swimming in a pile of bodies.
I don't
chasing the
think
one thing you wanted in life.
they're going to leave us alone anytime soon. Just get it out in the open.
Nothing matters anymore.
Okay. So, yeah, Tony, as you're saying this, you pry up the lid of the casket. And there appears to be a heap of things inside that you can't quite clearly see in the darkness. And there's something moving. You immediately hear it. And then you hear this the keening that you've heard suddenly gets just a tad louder, and it sounds like a shriek. You hear, and this large worm leaps up from this pile of stuff. It's got sharp teeth, and it leaps for you. And you are able to you actually are able to get to dodge out of the way just in time before it hits you.
I'm not going to dodge. No. I still have the razor in one hand. I'm gonna go right for its toothy mouth.
Oh well, in that case, I'm going to.
I'm
ask
gonna
you to
punch
make
it
a
with the
roll for me.
razor.
Yes. Do you have a move here? Yes.
I do.
Yes.
So, what I'm rolling with brawn, correct?
Yes. Yes, I believe so.
I got a 10.
Okay.
And I will be using my ability to don't miss twice, so that I can hit it again.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Now this thing is particularly fast and sinewy, as it is coming out. But you've had enough of an awareness about you, and sort of in tune to what these caskets are doing, that you were not taken by surprise by this. And how much damage does your razor do again?
It does. If I aim for a crucial spot, which I did, on a 10 plus, you inflict +2 harm, and they become unstable to blood loss, due to blood loss.
And what is the base for your razor? What are we adding the 2 to?
2. The base is 2.
Okay, so that's 4. Okay. Awesome.
And I'm gonna do it again.
Okay. Ah, excellent.
It takes another 4.
All right.
So what I did is it comes at me with its mouth open, and in the one hand I have my my razor, and so I just go to punch it right in the face with the razor, right down the mouth. I pull it out, and then I get it with the scalpel in my other hand.
Excellent. Okay.
I am having a day. I do not want to deal with your wormy bullshit right now.
So you slice it down the center, and you can see that you have hurt it, but the 2 halves of its head are now reshaping into 2 distinct heads. As it's now coming in, and it's now coiling around.
Can anything in this godforsaken desert just die?
Amelia, are you doing anything?
Well, it went at her, and then I guess when it falls to the ground, I'll stab one of the halves with the pitchfork.
Okay. Go ahead then, and unless you have a move for this, then you're going to be rolling with brawn to attack the thing, I believe.
Nope.
Now, this worm is about the size, probably as it's uncoiling, it's probably like twice the size of a human.
Oh.
In height, in length anyway. It's narrow. It's about, But
This toad is big enough to take an arm. That's what matters.
yeah. Okay. So 7 to 9 on an attack here. So it's going to. So as it's coming around, it's going to nip you, as you're attacking it. What's the weapon you have again? Remind me.
Pitchfork.
Pitchfork. Do you have the damage for the pitchfork? If not, I shall grab that in just a second. As soon as I locate it. Pitchfork, here we go. 3. Okay. So yeah, you you do that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. And it looks like it's not doing great. You sort of stab it, and it's sort of blood is coming out. As it sort of it kind of has sort of was like, so it did manage to nick you just a little bit, and you do take 1 harm while that's going on. and it just sort of slithers back around, and you can see that as it pulls back, its heads are snapping, and it's sort of like one head starts saying this thing that the other one finishes, and it's Amelia's really the only one that understands what it's saying, but it says, Amelia, what you hear is, "It was meant for you, not this one." and it's actually going to lunge toward again toward Tony. And so I need to know if you attempt to defend yourself at all in any way.
Oh, of course I do. Actually, I'm going to. Well, this was how. Well, Amelia was fighting it. I took off my jacket, and now I'm kind of like holding it in front of me, like, kind of like a towel, and I'm just waiting for it to come at me so I can try and like net it.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Un momento, por favor. All right. Yeah, I'm going to count that as a. This is more of a sort of a shielding type thing. Go ahead and use. Go ahead and use brawn for that as well. So go ahead and roll brawn, please. Excellent. Okay. So yeah, this thing comes for you, and you manage to just snag both of the heads. As it's sort of, and its head is now its heads are now tangled up in the jacket.
I'm gonna try and quickly just sort of let it tangle up, and then try and do a little tie with the sleeves, just so it sticks on there a little bit harder. And then I'm gonna kick it, just like not to do damage. I'm just gonna kick it because I can.
Okay, yeah. Now you've got the heads tied up, and they're now like just trying to range around on the ground, and you kick it, and it's like as it's slithering around. You now hear a bell ringing, which is it's the bell. Loam is ringing the bell because apparently it looks like you're fighting something.
It's my bell. It's tinkling. The bell tinkles.
While all that's going on,
is that even loud enough to wake people? What the heck?
Amelia's gonna have the pitchfork ready. She doesn't want to stab at it while it's on Tony, and just ask, what was meant for me?
What was meant for what? Stab it in the ass!
It was talking. Did you hear it?
No! It is a fucking worm! Stab it! Why are you trying to hold a conversation with it? Everyone thinks I'm the crazy one.
It was talking to me.
All right, fine. Mr. Worm, why were you talking to Amelia?
The rest of you are kind of coming to consciousness as you're sort of hearing this shouting going on in the background. Amelia, you hear, "You must let us in to be able to wield our ability and power."
Well, is it talking to you?
She's stop attacking my friend and stabs it. And then where do you want us to let you go?
Well, do you stab it, or are you you said you were
stab it while shouting at it?
Okay, I need you to roll plus brawn then.
Well, at least you finally stabbed it.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe not.
So you managed to punch down through the like the last third of it, and the last third of it actually it's the force of it is so much that the last third of it breaks away, and is starting to slither on its own independently away from the rest.
Word of advice, Amelia: don't make more worms.
And it's starting to.
You wanted me to stab it.
Starting to grow its own head.
You said you wanted to talk to it. Is it talking to you, or come on? I want my jacket back.
It was.
So,
What does it want? What did it say?
It said something was meant for me, and it wants me to let it go somewhere.
Wants you to let it go the only reason it's in my coat is because it came at us. If it wants to go somewhere, it could have gone.
So everyone is now awake, kind of hearing this conversation that's going on, and Amelia, you think the 1/3 the 1/3 worm has now curled up onto a rock and it's got teeth again, and you're hearing, and it says, no, it just says, "You must drink us in."
This sounds like
Join
a
us.
really bad idea. And then she stabs at that one.
Okay.
What sounds like a bad idea? Do you want me to let it go?
It wants me to drink it.
Please roll brawl.
What?
Brawn. Please roll brawn.
But it's...
Amelia.
How would you even get it down
Okay.
your throat?
I don't know. I think it wants to take over my mind or something. I don't know.
So
What did you
as
ask?
you
It sounds really bad, whatever it is.
so you
It
reach
sounds-
forward and you're impaling it, and it's like, I will see. And it just manages to get up, so it gets one little toothy into your to puncture your skin. And instead of doing, so there's a moment as you feel this almost fire around where it has punctured your skin, and you have this sort of this vision in front of you. And it's kind of like everything is slowed down and you're facing yourself. But it's yourself as like dressed in the garment in a black kind of poncho-like thing, kind of like the head of the cult that you were in. And she's slowly just sort of, and you can kind of, it's almost like you can hear your own heartbeat as this is happening. Thump, 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 thump. And she is stepping forward and reaching her hand out toward you.
With the outcast aspect, it says if your enemy uses magic or rituals against you, to roll plus creep to block the attack or turn it back on them.
Sure.
Let's see. Items. Okay, with my blood from the stone, I have +2 to creep. So, then I have this one here. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So 10 plus. You block the attack and turn it back on them with +2 harm added. Which I don't know how that would affect this, but
Okay, well, an interesting thing happens. You see that it just sort of, it stops, this version of you stops. And the heartbeat sort of that you're hearing slows down to a crawl. And you see that it leers back and is sort of, it's like, and this version of you that you're seeing seems to kind of disintegrate. It turns to dust and blows away. And you get the feeling that as you're sort of seeing through this, you do get the distinct impression that an offer was being made to you. I mean, I mean that much is obvious. But you hear now, it's the voice has changed that you kind of hear now, and it seems to be coming from everywhere for you. You could. You are most perceptive, but you could be my instrument if you desire the power. If you desire to put an end to things, and render your judgment final upon this world. All you need do is take up my weapon and wield it in my name.
She sort of shakes her head. She's trying to clear it all out. It is the worm still sitting there on the rock talking, supposedly?
No. Is when you look back down and you hear, and this sort of, it's echoing just sort of very, very, very faintly as this voice echoes away. The choice is yours. And you look down and you see that the worm has also sort of crumbled into nothing. It's sort of, you can see the shape of it, but it's, and the same thing has happened actually, Tony, is the worm in the jacket is like crumbled to dust.
I'm gonna shake out my jacket.
Yeah. Everyone else can kind of look over and see that Tony and Amelia were like, apparently were, Lone was pointing to them, and Tony and Amelia were doing something over by a cactus. Sort of stabbing at something. And Tony is now shaking out her jacket.
Yeah.
Amelia just shouts out into the night air toward the caskets, I am no one's instrument. I don't want to be used by anyone else. Just like waits with the pitchfork. Make sure it's really gone.
Yeah. You don't hear
What's
it.
going on over there?
Okay then. You got it.
So, it was offering you what? Power, gold, water. I mean,
Something about having power, I think, over the cultists, but it said that I had to take up its weapon and let it use me as an instrument. And I'm not really sure what it wanted to do, but I don't think it could have been good.
if I had an army, I could hunt the jackalope.
We
I'm
only got
pretty sure
one
that's
weapon
not
that
what it
belongs to
wanted to do.
somebody else.
Well, I mean, I couldn't hear it talk anyway, so. For all I know, you're just crazy.
What were you talking to back there?
Myself.
All those caskets you were kicking, trying to open?
The general ennui that is my life. Look, have you ever had something that just defined your whole existence? It was the reason you woke up in the morning, it's the reason you shaved, it's the reason you ate food, and now it's just not what you thought it was, and, well, your whole worldview is just changed? So
Yeah, I've been there.
Just a lot to come to terms with.
when I was a kid and I was going to school, there was a point where I realized there's no Dick and Jane. They're not real. So I know what you mean.
What the hell is
Mine
John
was
talking?
more realizing that the cult that I found was evil, but sure.
Are you talking about them reader books we used to do in school?
Yeah.
I wonder if they were real people they based that off of.
I wonder if the cult made those books. I wonder if they worship the lapis.
Y'all could
What?
read?
Yeah, Ducks, we can read.
Show offs.
It ain't that hard. It's just way more dull than you think.
So I'm assuming it was Death that was talking to you?
Maybe? I
Well-
think it wanted me to. Something to do with power over the cults and their death stuff, so I'm not really sure.
Well, I
Looks like a worm, though.
I suppose we got his weapon. You came from a death cult, right? And if you showed up with that weapon and said, I'm in charge now, like I did with the lake, they'd probably go, oh, well, I guess you are, since you could probably just cut them all in half.
Where
Not
is
yet.
where is the death weapon right
Hold
now?
on now. But what if you showed up with their weapon and tried to tell them what to do?
I reckon they'd probably do it.
Maybe.
So if we told them it was time to go on a hunt,
Anybody got a big cloak we could wear? We could pretend to be Death and just tell them what to do.
I mean, I'm covered in blood. What more do you need?
I think the death cultist might need to be the one.
That's probably true. Although you could probably just tell them to go stand in Baketown for a week and they'd all be dead anyway.
Wait, Amelia, once a cultist, always a cultist? I thought you left.
I'd really rather have no part of any more cultists, but
Hmm.
I mean, if it's means of getting us some water so we don't die any sooner than we have to.
I mean, is this like that thing that they used to do when we used to have that preacher in town? He used to throw water on people. Like, could you do that with us? Then we'd be death cultists too.
Easter?
No, that's the one where they burn things and then they touch you with it. No, I'm talking about the one where they went in to sing the songs and then they throw that bowl of water at them with the babies.
You talking about a baptism, sweetie?
I don't know. I mean, they used to take the babies down to the river and put them in the water. It was like a whole thing, something with water, and then now you belong. I don't know, but how? All right, but if we became cultists too, then any one of us could hold the weapon.
I don't know.
Does
I don't
being a
wanna be a
cultist
cultist.
make the weapon work better or something?
Now, if you put the babies in a basket and send it down that river, that means you're a Jew, right?
I'm lost. I'm still trying to figure out who Mary is and how Angie met her.
Ow. Jesus.
Oh, is this gonna be her baby that we were talking about?
Oh no, we're back on this train. How did we get here? Look, the sage hen said that it was the trickster and death against each other, right? And if you wield the weapon for death, don't we put it in death's favor then?
That
Makes
sounds pretty
sense.
smart.
I don't know if we want to do that.
Okay, the point of all this is to get us some water, right?
Sure.
And to bargain with the cultists to get us water.
Sure.
I got this feeling we've stumbled into a bigger thing than we thought we were stumbling into.
I look down to see where I'm standing. No,
I
I'm
already,
fine. I'm fine, John. I didn't stumble in anything.
I already stumbled earlier today. I ain't standing in nothing right now.
No, I don't mean like I thought I stepped in dog poop and it ended up being cow poop. I don't mean that kind of bigger thing. I mean like, oh, I thought I was just going to swipe this apple off of a cart, and instead I swiped this last apple and everybody in town died because there's no apples left.
That's awful of you to do that.
It's a
I get
metaphor.
it. I get it. No apples. If we're just here for the water, no apples.
Tony
Well-
just stares at you open-mouthed.
We just wanted water, but I think we've gotten sucked into some sort of make a big decision, blow a bunch of people up, decide the fate of the world sort of thing.
Oh, I hope not.
I ain't equipped for blowing people up, but I mean, we can cut them up real good.
Well, yeah. Well, what can we do with that bucket anyway? And I'll point at the cauldron.
Well, I think Angie had a good point here. Saying we're
What was that? We've talked about a lot of things.
About not helping death.
wait. I thought we
Okay.
decided we were gonna help Death.
I look at Angie. What?
What?
Well, I ain't the leader here. I don't know what y'all are looking at me for.
Angie, let's be honest. You're the cleanest and the smartest of all of us right now.
I do bathe regularly, but when there's water.
Mhm.
Look, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but we ought to just go there and see.
Fair enough.
So we're gonna go back to bed, get up in the morning, wander off to the death cult, and just see how it goes, right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well,
Doesn't
all right,
sound
I'm
like a
done
good plan,
planning.
but I don't know what else we do. We can talk about it more on the way too.
No apples.
Who's holding the death stick? I mean, we should probably decide that before we approach the cult, right?
I've
think
been
John-
carrying it, but mostly just to tick it off. I suppose anybody could. Now, if Amelia there wants to go all Bride of Doom with it, I guess we can hand it to her.
Who says she got it?
want to be a cultist. I'm not anymore, but I mean, is there any reason to think that me carrying it would do anything different than anybody else?
Well, it sounds like you had Death tell you that if you picked up his stick and walked in there and said, "Hey, I'm here for Death," you'd get to do a bunch of big hoo-ha stuff. Now, if that's the case, well, that's cool. But I didn't hear it. So if you want to
don't-
carry it, go ahead.
I don't know what would happen if I did. If that's the weapon it's talking about and it wants to use me, reckon anything bad might happen if I tried to pick it up?
Hey, Amelia, nothing says that you gotta be married to Doom, bride of Doom. Hell no. You become Doom, you become Death. It ain't so bad.
What?
Actually, it's quite a bit of fun.
That's kind of what I was thinking I did out there in the lake, but
Well, apparently it didn't find you to its liking. Or maybe it just needs to be held by someone a little bit stronger.
oh no, it hates my guts.
Hmm. Come on, Amelia. It ain't so bad.
Alright, how about this? Tony, you hold it. I'll put
All
my
right.
hand on it and see if anything happens.
I mean, yes, I will take this great burden.
Duck's already laid down. He doesn't like where this is going.
Amelia's a little suspicious of if it hates John so much, then that's just an extra element that we don't want to introduce into this experiment here.
John won't be holding it no more. It'll be Tony and Amelia. And I am an old acquaintance of Death's. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm going to look at the stick and go, well, you got somebody else coming for you. I hope you're happy you're there. Well, actually, no, I don't. Little turd.
Nah. I will hold out. I will hold out my hand for the stick, and I will gesture for Amelia to do the same, and we can both take it at the same time.
I'll
So John
just
just
let
needs to
you
drop it
pick
into
it
our hands.
up. No point in getting it riled before you guys get it.
You ready, Amelia?
Okay.
Ready?
All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 5, 3.
What? Amelia, I'm a count. 1, 2, 3, grab. Okay, we'll grab it on grab.
What
1,
about 5?
okay. 2, 3, grab.
Do the two of you grab the thing simultaneously?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will need you each to make a creep roll. Amelia, you actually... they're destroying things outside my house. This is what happens when you pick up the scythe. I know that Amelia has a move you actually can use in respect to this, because you're going to immediately feel it at work. Oh, look at that. Okay. Yes.
So plus, okay, I'll add that, and then I have. I'll add 2. Then I add 2 for my. Okay. I don't add the other one. Okay.
Okay. What happens?
Okay.
Amelia, what happens on 79 on your move?
For the outcast move, that one is on a 7 and 9, you successfully block their attack. Nothing extra happens.
Okay. So. You're going to feel a tremendous force leap up. And you get the sense of darkness now attempting to engulf Tony. It was trying to engulf you as well, but you're holding it off. And you sort of see the presence of death for a moment behind her, and we're going to go to break on that. And so we're going to be back in a few minutes. Did I put an interview in here? Let me find out if I put an interview in here real quick, because that would be helpful. The one that I wanted to throw in there as... Yay, thinking. No, I didn't. Let me do that real quick. Let me put the thing in. Alright. That's that one. Number 3. There we go. Okay. Now all that's happened. We'll be back in a few minutes. See you shortly. Welcome to the break. I have Trooper SJP with me today to chat about all manner of things. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am still breathing, which I think is the important thing to remember to do. On a daily basis, one hopes.
And in multiple times in a row.
Oh yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that part, but I'll get it. I'll get it sooner or later. But something that we wanted to talk about a little bit today is we both have theater backgrounds, as it turns out, and I know you basically we also both have writing backgrounds to a certain extent, and I actually wanted to find out, or not so much find out, but see kind of what your thoughts were on sort of intersections of RPGs with these various entertainment media, and just sort of where you might happen to see crossovers, and how the one might inform the other.
So I have a super spicy take, though.
Oh, yes?
I do have a very spicy take. And my spicy take is this. From the very beginning, you would always have people, like, you'd see, like, what is an RPG, right? They would always ask, like, what is Dungeons and Dragons? What is it? And they'd always say, oh, it's improvisational radio theater, right? They'd always somehow try to tell you what an RPG is by referencing film, books, these other media. And the thing is, it's not. And I don't mean this as and I mean this in the way, I've thought a lot about adaptations in different media. It's one of the things I do for a living. And I know that people will often say, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could take that big sprawling 80-hour RPG video game and make it a film? And I think, I don't know. A video game is really different from a film. It's 80 hours of content that you as a player have active participation in. Like there are these, like, it's not the same medium. And there are things that video games, and everyone's like, oh, there are no good video game movies, as if video games are somehow inferior in art form to film. But video games can do things that film can't. And when I think about RPGs, I think about the ways in which RPGs are a really special medium. They're not exactly books, because books can do all sorts of things that RPGs can't, and vice versa. They're not film. They're not exactly theater. It's like, there's that trend of getting lots of improv actors to do RPGs.
Yeah.
It's like, but improv and RPGs are not actually the same. Use improvisatory skills, but the function of an improv show is totally different than an RPG game where the players are the audience as well. It's a complicated thing. And I have thought long about what are the models we use when we are imagining how to put together an RPG, and are those models useful to us? And how can we really think about what it is that RPGs themselves do? And I was thinking about, for example, and this is like a weird thing, but in terms of writing and media and theater, I think for an ongoing RPG campaign, here's my people should maybe look less to film, which often has hero protagonist that is unitary with maybe some sidekicks, and that is particularly directed, like maybe that for like a one shot. And look a little bit more to daytime soap operas, actually, because daytime soap operas are about sort of long weaving stories, right, where things sort of come through and come in and out in different kinds of ways. They're character focused, they're large ensembles, and there's a way in which the long scale soap opera certainly has plots and excitement and all that, but it is a bit more sympathetic to the kind of experience an RPG does as a story.
Yes.
So and I feel like because we don't necessarily respect soap operas as a media, as opposed to like our golden age of television where you want it to, I don't know. But there's a lot there that would be so interesting to think about in terms of thinking about RPGs.
I've just got to say, I think you've hit on the crux of why I think streaming your RPG campaign works as even an entertainment thing. It's because of the soap opera factor. You get attached to certain characters. It's an ensemble thing. And you have you have characters that can come and go, even because as different players have to drop out, or as their characters die and they take on new characters. It is a lot more like a soap opera. I definitely agree on that.
And the pacing is different, and so this is a thing I was thinking about in terms of, and this is fascinating thinking about streaming. People will say, well, and this is, I think, perhaps not the most productive. People say, oh, well, we're streaming it. It has to be like a TV show. And by that, I think they mean, I don't know, Breaking Bad. They want it to be really intense, very tight, no waste. I was like, well, first off, that's actually not how RPGs work. RPGs don't really do that. And it's not scripted. So you can't do that. And I think that also, it's 4 hours. Like your RPG show is anywhere between 2 to 4 hours of a stream, right? I mean, there's some that are 2, there's some that are up to 4, but the streams are long. So how do you sustain viewer interest over 4 hours, potentially 4 hours, let's say 3 as an average, when a TV show is a half hour to an hour? Well, you don't do it by being intense the entire time like you are intense in a film. There's a moment where sort of sitting back and just sitting around the fire, that kind of what some people will call downtime, becomes, which is so important to an RPG that the players really enjoy, becomes really important for the RPG stream to sort of manage the pacing of the intensity, because you can't, as an audience member, be full intense mode the entire time. There's no way that's healthy or you can sustain it, right? So I think that understanding that the rhythm and the pacing of an RPG is just really different from all of these other media
Yeah.
allows you to embrace the things that RPGs do that no one else does. And that is the excitement for me, like to think not how can I make my RPG like a movie, but how can I make my RPG super RPG like? How can I really bring out all those things that make RPGs really special?
Yeah, I will say, I think to a certain extent, you can the way you do things in an RPG or can be inspired by movies and TV shows. And you know, I know that we've all done this thing where it's like the camera pans in, you know, that kind of thing, or the perspective shifts.
Yep.
And I think that that's a thing where it's and I've seen some games where you try to emulate a thing, but it does become entirely a different thing.
Yeah. And that's cool, right? Like I think that's really neat.
Absolutely.
Because you know what's neat though, I was thinking about, and I was also like random as a theater person, like why is it film and not theater? Why is it not when the curtain rises? Like what's up with that? But all right, that's cool. We'll think about it.
In some things, if you want to, and again, it's not quite. But I think it's closer to theater than it is to something like film or TV because you're right there.
Yeah, and I actually also think that it's closer to theater than film or TV on a meta level, and that's when we're thinking about for this moment because there's been a lot of scandal and discussion in the world, and I think that when we're thinking about safety tools, it's important to remember that this is a lot more like theater than it is film or television. In film or television, if something is going badly, you can just stop, yell, cut, and nobody feels badly about that. But theater actors are trained from the time they're very young that the show must go on, that you just push through whatever is happening on stage. I mean, like I cut my hand in the first scene of a play I was in and bled for the entire 2-hour show because I had no time to fix my hand. And I didn't just I don't think that's healthy. But the point is that there's a particular kind of way in which people who are doing a live show often feel like they have to just pressure through, and streamed RPGs are live shows, and so we really have to think about safety tools. How can we help deal with bleed? How can we help deal with making sure that the people who are players in a stream show feel safe and feel like they can bring up concerns on a stream show with an audience without that being a problem for them? And I think that we have to recognize that we are similar to theater in that way, that we are doing live shows and that we do need to have a special kind of care for our players and GM in that environment.
Absolutely. It's really a case of where it's I've had many a fractured bone and a bruised limb that will very much agree with that same experience, as it were. Well, not agree with the experience, but you know what I mean. We'll be able to testify that such is definitely the case, and that I think that. In many ways, the RPGs can be made to be better because you actually are trying to care about the people you are playing a game with. It is that kind of activity that you're trying to in a sense to embrace the people you are with instead of just use them as tools.
Right, because the GM is not a director. Just again, this is why I think we have to be really careful not to sort of mix our metaphors over much.
Exactly.
We can take inspiration, but a film has a director who's like, "This is my vision." RPGs don't have directors; they have referees, game moderators, right? But they don't have directors, and so remembering that we're all in this together, that we are playing a game, we should be having fun, and. Right, and fun can be really intense, but this should be fun, and that we're all in it together is one of those things where, how can we embrace the specialness, right? Sort of be inspired by, and also maybe we could, if we want to be inspired by other media, be inspired by a lot more other media, not just film or television, but maybe be inspired. Like, what would an RPG look like if it were inspired by poetry? What would an RPG look like if it were inspired by oh, I don't know, like what about like dance? Like what would an RPG look like if you're like, oh, I've been thinking about how people put together dance routines and choreography, and how might I use that kind of physical thing to inspire this game in some way? I don't know. Like let's broaden where we get our influences to make the game it's especially its own thing and like really rich and cool. Like that's exciting.
Absolutely. There is so much that can be done, and so much that is, as of yet, either untapped or little known. And I'm just very excited to see where just the whole idea of gamery goes in the future. Yeah. Absolutely.
Me too.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us about this. I really appreciate it. If folks want to find you online, where should they go?
Ooh, you can find me at Trooper SJP on Twitch, and you can find me at Academic Foxhole on Twitter. I don't know why Twitch is here and Twitter's over there, but it is. It
is, in a spiritual sense, in those directions. Yes.
I think it's because I feel like here's where like links are, and I was like, oh, like, well, we're in Twitch right now, so like this is the website we're in, but then you'd have to go that way.
Yes, that's
I don't
right.
know why you have to.
We're inside the Twitch machine, and that's how we climb to the different parts. That's where the ladder to the link is. That's how we get there. Absolutely.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Take care, folks, and we will see you later. We have returned. Hello. So, there is a moment So when the two of you are grabbing this thing, you get this distinct feeling that it wants to kill. It's a very, very strong feeling that it wants to basically lay waste to all that is left. Death is the only natural state. You're getting this feeling from it that this is what it wants. And so I will say that, so Amelia, you've sensed this animus of death trying to basically coming from the scythe. This very powerful desire coming from the scythe, and you were able to push it back. And Tony, you feel something different. You don't actually feel necessarily. You get the sense, absolutely, that this thing wants to kill.
Okay.
But what you get is that you're kind of very sharply. I'm sorry?
I tell it okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As soon as I get the sense that it wants to kill, I tell it okay. I mean, if it would like to inform me of like more terms and conditions or other things I should be aware of, I click agree.
Well, it's just basically, you get this feeling that it just wants everyone to be, it wants everyone to be taken down. That's
okay.
And as in like
start
everybody.
With the rabbits. All right, we'll start with the jackalopes.
And it's basically, it's very much a thing where, you're not sure if you're tapping into whatever it has. You just get that sense that it wants to kill things. So the two of you are holding on to this. What now?
You're muted, Amelia. You're muted.
Oh. When Amelia sees the death behind Tony, she would try to pull the scythe away from Tony. When she feels like she's got a handle on things and it's not taking her over, she's afraid of what it's about to do to Tony, and she would try to pull it away.
And Tony's going to try and pull it closer because it wants to kill. And Tony said, okay.
So basically you have tug-of-war going on.
Can Amelia and I talk to each other, or are we kind of like in this fugue state or something?
No, you can talk to each other. Yeah, it's just fine.
What are you doing? We need to... I mean, it's an instrument of death. We need to instrument death.
And it wants to kill you.
No, it doesn't. It wants me. Well, us, I guess. But, it wants killing. So we just have to, kill things.
I thought we wanted to give this to me, so why don't you give this to me? And keep it from killing you.
It's not gonna kill me. It wants me to kill things.
It's standing up behind you. It wants you to kill you.
If I look over my shoulder, do I see anything?
No.
There's nothing back there.
And even the worm, it was saying that it wasn't for you, and they were attacking you. They weren't attacking me. Death is out for you.
What the hell are y'all talking about?
We're having a conversation, Angie. Okay, look. Okay, how about this? How about this? You can hold on to it for a little while, but when you're done with it, I just need to borrow it for a hot minute. Like, probably no more than 15, 20 hours tops.
Let's find our water and then figure out what to do.
After we get the water, y'all give me the death stick, and and just, you know, turn a blind eye.
We'll see where things are after we get the water.
Don't need the water. I need the blood of a rabbit.
We need to make a bargain with the cultists to get the water, though, or we will die. And it won't matter if you get the rabbit, because you'll be dead.
You know what? Faster path. We kill the cultists, and then no need to waste time talking, and hop, skip, and a jump. I'm faster off to slaughtering a couple of rabbits.
That's probably what it'll come down to, because I don't expect them to be too reasonable.
Awesome. So let's just, skip the part where we try to talk to him and go straight to the slaughtering. Perfect. Okay, cool. Is it a promise? You promise? I'm gonna get the death stick back when we're done? You promise?
If we still have
Pinky
it,
promise?
Pinky promise that if we still have it,
You seem to
after
eager.
we finish with the cultists
Uh-huh.
and get our water,
Uh-huh.
I will let you have it
Okay.
for 24 hours tops.
Deal.
And I'll go with you.
Deal. And I don't
Make
think
sure
Andrew.
death doesn't try to kill you while you're out or something.
I appreciate
and I'll
that.
help
I
you
do.
find the jackalope.
Oh, great. So then Angie must have told you, right? When you make a pinky promise with me, if you don't hold up your end of the bargain, you lose your pinky and the hand it was attached to. Pinky promise. Fantastic. Here you go. And I'll let it go.
Are you serious? You can't let her have that. She gonna kill us all, and that damn rabbit too.
Would do no such
have it till
thing.
after
But you
we
already
get our
made a
water.
pinky promise, so now you gotta lose
I
your finger
said
and lose
till
the rest of us. You choose.
after we get the water, and I said I will go with her to make sure everything's okay.
Why do you want water if you're gonna die anyway?
She likes you. She's not gonna kill you.
And I ain't interested in the water. Y'all can have my share. I just need those 24 hours.
Doesn't that worry you? I'm talking to you, Amelia. Doesn't that worry you? She doesn't want the water. That's creepy.
It is concerning,
You
but
can't make the one who went swimming in the bone desert in the bone ocean.
I'll have you know, I fell in. I didn't go swimming.
Yeah, you just crawled your way out into that fall, face
No,
first.
I walked out and then
No,
fell.
he walked. I crawled.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
I wasn't naked.
It's full moon rising on that night.
I just think you like death too much.
I don't like death. I just appreciate the sound of its music.
okay, are we gonna try to get any sleep tonight, or is that just going out the
I
window?
can't sleep after she says that.
Come on, we ain't sleeping no more. Let's just get this over with. Because the sooner
Let's
we
get
take
going.
care of this, the sooner I get to hold the death stick again.
Oh God.
Oh Lord.
I mean, we don't want to run out of water before we get more water anyway, so let's go.
Tony is smiling, by the way, and it is incredibly disturbing. It's like someone who doesn't quite know how to smile, but thinks they know how to smile. So it's a little too wide and a little too much teeth.
Death sighs despondently and goes and sits down on a rock.
Lord. Well, let's go. I'm not playing this game anymore, and I don't know what's gonna happen after this. I don't know if there's gonna be like all of us are gonna die, or some of us are gonna die. But that stick in Tony's hand is a bad idea. Guaranteed. It's a bad influence on you, Tony. Bad influence.
Angie. When have I ever done something so wrong that it ain't right at something else?
You're not wrong, but I worry about that. That stick, it's wrong. It's all wrong.
It's just cranky.
They say
Well-
the devil's cranky too.
Well, you guys made a deal.
That's right. We did
Yep.
make a deal. So,
Y'all made a deal, so no changing it now.
so Amelia, let's get on getting on. Sun ain't
I-
rising any faster.
All right, let's go.
Loam shrugs and then just starts walking. toward-
Loam wants to get the hell out of here. I'm sure.
Yeah. Loam reaches for, just holds the bell forward toward Tony.
I take it back and I put it on my wrist and give it a jingle. And I kind of actually take a moment, and while I'm walking, there's a little bit of an extra hop in my step, and I purposefully give it a jingle every time I walk.
Angie's gonna lean over to Amelia, like after Tony started walking, and just said, "You realize you're gonna lose your damn pinky, right? Because we ain't giving her that stick."
I told her I would. Look, you come with us too. I told her I'd help her with the jackalope.
I ain't gonna be
You
nowhere
come
near
with
her.
us.
Nowhere. When she's wielding that stick, you best believe I'm gonna be gone.
She uses all sorts of weapons all the time. You know what she does?
This
How's
ain't a
this any
normal
different?
weapon. You know this ain't a normal weapon. What did the Sage Hen say? She said it was between the trickster and death, and I think we just tipped the scales in death's direction, and I ain't here for it.
Well, maybe if Tony takes care of that jackalope, she'll settle down a little bit and chill out some.
Doubtful. But let's go.
I know for a fact that the trickster is not going to lose.
How do you know that?
How do I know what?
That he's not gonna lose. How do you know?
Who's not going to lose?
What? You just said... You did the thing again. You know, the thing that you do where you say stuff and you don't remember it?
Oh, the trickster. He's not going to lose. He's not.
Oh. How do you know that?
Because he already lost once to me. That's how I'm here. He's not going to lose twice in the same. I just don't see it happen.
All right then.
I'm gonna shake my head all sad like and look the other direction.
Yep. So, you proceed, having gotten maybe a tiny bit of sleep, some of you, and the sun will eventually rise as you go over hill and dale. Skirting the loam leads you sort of northeast around the tangled hills. So that you can avoid the lands of the patchwork people. Who every now and then you kind of see in sort of the these, you know, you see these hills off to your left, off to the west, and occasionally, and with all these brambles on top of them, thorns, brambles. See occasionally people darting back in between them that look almost human. You head north, and as you're walking through you're starting to head, you know, through the remnants of what looks like it used to be a town. And you're actually on. You see on either side of you these old and mostly destroyed buildings. around the time you get to something like mid-morning. You've been walking for a very long time. And Loam stops for a moment to try to shake the rocks out of his shoes. Dux, as the sun rose, you could feel it's almost like your lungs are kind of on fire. It's a very light sort of feeling. And it's kind of been that way for the good portion of the day thus far. You sort of get to the point, by the time you get to this town, that you can sort of see the heat rising all around you.
Just before you continue, Jim, out of game, what happens when you reach a point where you don't have water to drink? You die?
When you don't have water... Do.
Can you drink a morning drink, Dux?
Well, I have a morning and an afternoon. I'm just wondering later on.
If we hit
what
evening
happens.
and yeah, change your own. I believe you start taking. I believe you start taking harm, but
Okay.
I think it starts coming out of your vitality, if I remember correctly.
Okay. No, I just didn't know if I die immediately or if there,
No, I think it's. I think it comes out of your vitality.
Okay.
Wait,
I know. Well, we know it ain't good.
I think I found it.
I'm pretty sure you're either going to have water or be dead by evening time.
In order to stay stable, it says. Survivors must take a drink of at least 3 times a day in order to stay stable in the morning, at noon, at night. Survivors may also choose to take a drink in order to decrease the amount of harm taken to their blah.
So I become unstable, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay.
That's no good.
Yep. Yeah. Survivor receives more than 4 harm, they are rendered unstable. An unstable character will slowly deteriorate until they're healed or killed. Yeah. So that's where it goes. Okay. Dux, you see, as you're sort of drifting toward sort of off to the side, and it's like as you're coming up to like the crossroads, the center of this town, where Loam has stopped to empty out his shoes. Dux, by near the wreckage of sort of one of the buildings, you kind of see for a moment through the haze, it looks like it's kind of the outline of a figure that looks of a person that looks kind of familiar to you.
Okay.
They are wearing a suit, very nice suit with a hat, just sort of nice suit and a hat, sort of broad-brimmed hat, and you kind of see, and you can't really clearly see them, but they're sort of like wave, and they do this.
I just start wandering towards them.
Okay.
Even if that's off our path, I still wander towards them.
It's not far, but it's a bit of a ways.
Is it
No,
Big
it's-
H? Is it Big H?
It's hard to say, because yeah, it could be. You get a feeling that's similar to the one that you had when you were in that individual's presence.
Okay.
As far as anyone else sees, Dux is just sort of checking out while Loam is stopped. Dux appears to be checking out this sort of some of the debris that's over next to something.
Ducks, don't wander off too far. It's dangerous out here.
Says the person with death scythe.
And as you're getting closer, you still have trouble seeing the person's face for some reason. But you can kind of hear them say, hey buddy, you hanging in there okay?
Yeah, I feel great. And great.
So, just the way things are, it's going to be hard to know if you have, how much time you're going to have with what's going on. So, I've got something for you that might just sort of help even things out. But you mustn't tell anybody if I let you have this.
Oh, mum's the word. Mum's the
Okay.
word.
All right. Shh. You tell anybody, and then, that's then it's game over. All right?
No, I got plenty of games left of me. No way.
Okay. What I have for you is in this box that I'm sitting on right now.
Is it Tony's toe?
Oh, that would be awesome. No, it's not. Much though I would love to tell you that. Now, that group of folks you're going to see, well, if they're no longer, well, if they're no longer on the map, who knows what would happen, but we'll just sort of see. I really just want to see what happens. Like I said, don't tell anybody what's in here.
What's in the box?
And you look up again, and he's not there anymore. And it's just a box.
How big is the box?
It's like a crate. It's a flat crate, sort of.
I am going to open the box.
Okay. In the box are what looks to be a couple of sticks of dynamite.
I stick them down my pants.
Okay, that is the safest possible place for them.
Yeah. Right in the front of my pants. I
They look
pull
fairly, yeah, they're a little old, but yeah, you just quickly grab them and you put them away. Okay. So, Loam has finished sort of shaking things out of his shoes. He's putting his shoes back on. Sort of looks up at the position of the sun, looks over, nods, and just glances around and starts walking north again.
I'm going to walk back to catch up. And I'm kind of walking like when a little kid has an irritated diaper. Just because I got stuff in my pants and just wasn't really thought out well.
Ducks, are you okay?
Yeah. Just taking care of some business.
Okay, well, she automatically thinks he's talking about toilet type of business. Just shakes her head and keeps walking.
Okie doke. Okay. It is approaching noon when you reach the base of the mesa. There is a path that winds up and around it.
Amelia, are you going to be welcome back? If you walk in front, will they probably not throw rocks on top of us?
I mean, this isn't the same cult exactly that I was a part of. I suspect there might be some communication between them, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if anybody there will know me or not.
Oh, I thought this was yours.
Not exactly. It's just seems to be pretty similar.
Okay. I didn't know there was that many cults out here.
Well, I came out here to get away from them, but here too.
There
Huh.
are so many. So many.
I'm going to look way up to the top of the mesa. Go. I wonder if they think they're better than us.
Loam stands off to the side of the path, plants his staff in the ground. He just nods to you all.
So you ain't going up with us. All right.
And you kind of hear, and John, you kind of hear, this isn't my battle. This is for you. This you must do on your own.
All right.
Is there like steps or anything that head up there?
It's a path. It kind of winds up. Sometimes the path gets kind of like steps.
Angie is gonna look at everybody and say, "Well, we're here. Let's head on up."
Let's
How many
go.
more steps?
What?
How many steps?
Well, just one to get down.
I'm talking up.
Lots.
Come now, the sooner we get this done, the sooner I get to hold the stick.
Oh, good lord.
Come along, and Tony's going to start kind of sideways walking, half dancing up the stairs.
Okay.
While Dux walks awkwardly up the stairs.
It's a lot of steps.
Pocket full of dynamite.
I'm not gonna say anything, but it's pretty obvious to me he's got dynamite in his pants.
Yeah, you have experience with this kind of thing.
I got dynamite in mine.
Yeah.
Ew.
I did not expect to hear that tonight.
I mean,
That is actually some good logic right there. Sound.
You keep your pants business to yourselves.
Did he have dynamite before, or did he get some of yours?
I don't think he said. Did you? I don't think John said that out loud, or did you?
No, I'm not going to bring it up.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to go, huh, he's got dynamite in my head and not wonder about why he's walking funky.
I appreciate you, John, for admiring the dynamite in my pants and not saying anything.
Well, I figure that's probably what it is. I ain't never seen anybody grow a second pecker that fast.
Would make a lot more sense than jerky. For sure, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The jerky's about ready, by the way, just so you'll know.
Yeah. Today keeps coming up ducks.
It does,
That's what's
doesn't
going to
it?
be the end of the world. We should have had Soylent Green, but no, sock jerky. It's the
See,
end.
the true herald of the apocalypse is just the apocalypse starts as soon as someone bites into the lizard jerky. That's really when it happens.
Tony has dropped to all fours and has started running up the stairs, like hand and feet. You can hear them scrabbling on the ground, just kind of like, hurry up! You're all moving too slow. We have to get there now!
Is that a normal way to run?
Angie rolls her eyes. We'll get there when we get there. Calm down.
Your pinky promise did not cover speed.
No, it didn't. Tony seems determined to make this happen as quickly as possible. I mean, I figure it's better if she gets it after than to have left her with it when we needed it now, so.
Oh yeah. Between the two choices.
Hold on to it.
Angie's gonna kind of like look to the others and kind of like put her hand up like that's gonna stop Tony from hearing. They sometimes get a little overexcited about stuff, so just take it all with a grain of salt,
So the the first person you run into as you're heading up the path appears to be a man sitting there, sort of shrouded in black with what looks like some sort of goggles, you think, wearing some kind of, or maybe it's part of a mask that appears to be sort of, it's got these strange sort of speckles and it's drawn as some kind of like a beak of some kind on it. Looks like an owl mask. And he's sitting in the path as you're coming racing up the side of this mesa. Sort of looks up, tilts his head. Why do you come here?
We came to talk to the death cult what lives on top of this mesa. We hear they got water. We need some water. That's crazy, Tony. I'm gonna point to to Tony, who's just right in front of him, I suspect.
Why bother? You're going to everyone's going to come to an end. Why bother trying to prolong it?
Oh, no, I see. You misunderstand. We aren't here to prolong. We are here to hurry along to the end. And Tony's gonna rock back on their heels and kind of stretch their fingers, little bits of blood flaking off, covered still in dried blood and dust and ashes of worms. We're here to help, you see. Our friend there carries the scythe, and, well, you all want to die, don't you?
Is that what you think?
You wish to meet death, then? Yes, we can facilitate that as well. Really, it's one half dozen or the other. It doesn't quite matter to me. We just, yes, must hurry it along. Where?
Ending the world is a grave responsibility.
Yes. Weight of the world, heaviness, so on and
That's
so
funny.
forth. Some of us have plans. Some of us must get things done. Well,
Now wait here a goddamn minute. I'm just gonna get some water up there, and this world ain't ending like this. I'm not letting it. God damn it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, I think that as those who are trying, oh yeah, well, okay, let's hang on, no, let's not roll yet. It's going to say, just sort of turns and then the owl snaps its head to look at you, Angie. Why do you think that's going to help you if you were to have some of our water? It would certainly not help hasten the end, as your friend seems to want.
Can't pay no attention to them. What they want is just, you can't even begin to fathom what they want. But listen, look, we got a couple more people in town. We just want to get a little water. Just, so what if it's all going to end? It's all going to end anyway. The sun's going to explode. We're all going to die anyway, at some point anyway. This whole place is just a battleground for whatever, and the death and whatever, and whatever. But we need water now. I'm holding out hope. This is going to happen. We're going to make it through this.
Hope. I think that so anyone who wishes to, this is actually interesting. So there's an argument for having Tony roll this. There's also an argument for having Angie roll this. And this is basically this is basically going to be trying to convince this person as you are parlaying with them. So whichever of you wishes to do this is going to be is going to use trick, unless you have a move that helps you influence others.
No, not unless I make them drink something.
No, we can keep going if you'd like to make an attempt at doing that first. But, well, let's see. Let's see how this is going. So basically, you can attempt to deviate into something that would allow you to give them a drink, or if you want, you can go ahead and try rolling trick right now.
Either way, it's a trick roll, so I'll just try to trick them without trying to make them drink anything.
You got it.
Tricky.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And so basically, the owl, he's sitting there saying, hope. Hope. Would like to see how that works. I didn't think anyone still had any hope. Very well. You may pass. And he turns. He stands up. He turns. Cocks his head again. Faces the butte. And steps into it. And you hear this light sort of very, very low, tiny rumble as he seems to just merge into the earth.
I wonder if he was a madman.
Where'd he go?
Into the dirt.
Well, he's not in our way anymore.
Angie's gonna go like pat where he went into the thing.
It feels as though the surface of it feels a little weird. A few rocks come tumbling away.
Mm-hmm.
Something's definitely affected the rock here, but it's not, it's still pretty solid.
It's not a like platform 9 3/4 situation.
No, it is not. Unfortunately, the train doesn't run anymore.
Angie's gonna turn and be like, I don't know what I did, but I guess I did it right.
You talked him into letting us by. You talk good.
Had lots of practice with all those old drunks in the bar. Now let's get to getting.
And get
How
you
you feel?
do. Sorry, go ahead.
So how you feeling, Amelia? Carrying the weight, the death around your shoulders?
It's difficult. I came out here to escape cults. Planned to never see one again, and well, aside from those few cultists that you've taken care of for me, didn't expect to see more again. Certainly never expected to be going back to one willingly to deal with them. So it is a heavy weight, but hopefully this will be of some use. And she holds up the scythe and cauldron as well. I'm ready to just get it over with.
We'll take care of this with you, don't you worry, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We'll get this taken care of real quick.
She just kind of gives her the side eye, like, oh, she's just trying to get to the death stick.
No, I want to help my good, personal, close friend, Amelia, solve all her problems.
Hmm?
So you continue up the path, and you've made it now like about 2/3 of the way up. And then you see a second cultist seems to be leaning against the, as you come around, dressed in black, big sort of black poncho, leaning and smoking, holding a staff in one hand and the other, just sort of leaning and smoking against the butte. Just sort of takes a cigarillo, shifts, cocks its head. You see that this one is kind of wearing it's wearing a hood, and the mask is decorated like a cat. And you see, just very casually, just sort of comes around languidly, turns, and you can see that actually this one, it's not so much a poncho as a it's a little bit, but it's sort of like a more of a cloak type deal. Just wearing sort of dark clothes, sort of bound with ropes, a little bit tied up to keep anything from being loose. But it moves. They move very loosely, almost inhumanly, as they sort of come down, just sort of stretching and rapidly shifting position as you come closer. And looks up. And you can kind of almost sense it smiling, because like the mask seems to smile a little bit as you get closer. Interesting. Zadok said that we had visitors. Who might you be?
Was Zadok the owl guy?
Just so.
Amelia sort of stays kind of behind the rest as much as possible as they're walking, so she can escape notice if they do run into somebody that might recognize her.
And actually, yeah, it's a good thing you're doing this, because this person's voice sounds familiar. This sounds like someone who was involved in the other cult, and his name was Eli. He didn't used to wear a mask like this. But he smoked those same cigarillos.
She stays quiet and as unobtrusive as possible to avoid drawing notice.
Why are you bothering to climb this very tall structure? What do you need, really? What's the point?
I'm going to look at him and go, I'll let you talk to Angie on that one. Angie?
Water?
I mean, you drink water today, you're just going to need it again tomorrow. What's the point? May as well just accept it. It's over. For everybody.
Well, that's a shitty attitude.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you like to just not have to worry about all this?
So what do you propose instead?
Just lay down and be one with the universe.
That sounds like quitting, and I ain't a quitter.
Also sounds mighty lazy.
Would you be... Yeah, but... Sure. Seems like most other folks have quit. Why not? What do they know that you don't?
Like John said, maybe they're lazy. I don't know.
Like my mom
Maybe.
always said, people who ain't good for nothing ain't good for nothing.
It's full of wisdom.
Now, why is it your...
That's confusing.
Why does it have to be your responsibility? Why does any of this have to be your responsibility? None of this was your fault. Why stick your neck out?
Somebody's
Well-
got to do it.
I'm gonna point at my blood-covered friend Tony over there and say, "That ain't their blood, but they're gonna end up washing it up someday, probably. So, same thing."
And just sort of
I also find
turns,
that
looks at Tony. Why are you? You look like you have skills. Why are you even with these people? What do you owe them?
Oh, don't know. I don't owe them anything. I'm curious. Some of them are my friends. Some of them are friends of friends. And some of them have made promises to share in the bounty of the harvest that comes for us all. So, we have places to be, we have things to do, answer the lovely person's questions, and let us move on.
She's impatient.
So very stressed.
Not only that, she don't like to wait.
High-strung.
So much. That too. Should really just let go of that. That's not gonna get you anywhere. Just accept it.
Angie punch her.
My whole life, people have been trying to keep me down. My mama died. My daddy was an asshole. And here I am today. I run my own damn bar. I take care of the citizens in my town. And I do it because there was nobody taking care of me. Well, maybe one. She looks over at Tony and smiles.
Duck is confused.
But here's the deal. Tomorrow's gonna come whether I'm alive to see it or not, so I might as well be alive.
That's how you all feel.
Pretty much.
So someone may now, if they wish, whoever is leading in this situation, if they wish, may roll trick.
After that speech, I think Angie should.
But again,
Angie's in charge of us. Clearly, we are not capable of making any good decisions on our own.
I appointed her talker, so.
it's Trick again.
Yep.
Millie is still trying to escape notice.
Oh yes.
Oh, failure.
So
Ooh.
just sort of, well, look at what you're saying. Just sort of be like, and it seems as though the smile is growing impossibly wide, maybe, or it could just be a trick of the heat. I know one of you. One of you isn't trying to hide.
Is he standing closer to the,
No, here.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, that was it. Go ahead.
Is he standing closer to the wall or closer to the outside where he can see us all better?
As this is going, he has stepped a little bit closer to the outside, but just by a hair. So he's about in the middle right now.
I'm personally a little tired of this man, and I don't like the way he's starting to talk about, Amelia back there. So I would just like to slough off the earth he's standing on and let him fall off the side.
Ah, excellent. Okay. So I would like you to. Do you have a move for that?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
I believe it is brawn. It's either brawn or backbone. And I will down a drink of water for that.
Ah, well, there we are.
Because it's supposed to, open a crack and suck him down and trap him there and do some harm. But I figure if he's right on the edge of a cliff,
oh yeah, no,
he might just go, wah!
So it works, but an interesting thing is going to happen. So you do so as you're so you're going to take a sip of. Is this like your last water that you have, or are you?
No.
Oh, okay. Cool. You take a sip of water and you sort of work at it, and it's like so as he's sort of prowling forward, and he sort of looks up. Oh, hello. I know. And the earth rumbles, and he sort of starts tumbling down. Now, something strange happens. As he's tumbling down the side, anyone who is looking over the side will see he quickly seems to catch the side and is moving incredibly fast. It's like just as he's about to hit the bottom, he starts running along the side.
Cats always land on their feet.
And then he runs
Even
around
Duck knows that.
He runs around the butte and out of sight.
Huh. I can't say I expected that.
Does look like he took a few knocks on the way down, though. You think? And now the path is broken in front of you, but beyond where it's crumbled, there's a very narrow ledge. You can all walk along if you want, and then
I gotta point to a couple spots and go, them's the least stable. I wouldn't walk on them. Walk on those.
Angie's gonna follow his advice.
you are getting near the top. At this point, you have crossed. You're walking around and around. And, yeah. You reach a point. It's gone past noon now. It's just starting into afternoon. As you're up top here. Cresting the top here, and you can see it looks like this settlement that has been built on top of this mesa. You see these, that it's kind of shielded to an extent by these sort of, I wish I knew the words for these, but you drive a couple of sticks into the ground and you stretch a sheet of leather across the two of them. I forgot.
Lean-to?
Lean
is
to, right?
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
you
were
could
talking
say
about
that. There's sort of-
tanning a hide.
yeah, it's kind of, it's yeah, you've got sort of hide stretched across a few different, places, sort of to kind of help shield from the sun. And you see it's basically this sort of center sort of area where there's what looks like kind of a place for a bonfire to be set, lots of wood piled up. You see some huts that appear to have been constructed up here. And there's someone doing something over on the other side of the of things. There's like you see something that looks like kind of a big kind of a bigger sort of hut with a little lean-to in front of it, and there's someone moving over there in front of it that you can't quite make out from here. But as you're stepping up and you're looking around, you see that you sort of turn and just sort of look. You see this pair of eyes from the shadow of that big hut looking at you. What would you like to do?
So apparently there are some people here that know me. That guy's voice sounded awful familiar. So I think I should stay in the back and try to hide as much as possible.
Well, okay, but if they know, well, okay. And I'm just gonna look at you, and I'm gonna look at Angie like it's in your hands. You're the people here. You go do stuff. We believe in you.
I worry if they know I'm here, they'll automatically be against us, maybe? Maybe if they don't know at first, they're more likely to listen.
Solid logic. So, what do you guys think? Should we try to talk to him?
Can't hurt. I mean, you got some good words. You're kind of covered in blood. Give it a shot.
All right, I'll put on that Southern charm, I guess. I'm surprised Tony ain't saying she wants to kill him. That'd be nice.
Do we see the well by any chance?
You do not see the well right now.
Duck is gonna slink behind Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of lean in and say, even if they know you, they don't know you with the scythe.
True. I don't know how much it'll help me yet, though.
Duck just goes, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm going to look at Ducks with this look that says, I used up my input. How about you?
I'm not the one holding Death's murder stick. So, yeah. Y'all made your decision, so...
Jealous much?
You know what, Ducks? A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Well... Look, just walk up there confidently, tell them you are the harbinger of death and you are here to send them to their final reward. All right? Just say it with enough oomph and everything will be fine. And if it's not, then we'll take care of it. But Angie, don't give me that look. You know I'm right.
A good bluffs always works, huh, Ducks?
No, I suck at bluffing.
I don't think this
Alright,
is a
well,
bluff.
Okay, there's some eyes looking at us
Truly not.
from that hut over there.
Uh-huh.
You think that's where I should go?
Yeah, just go up there and tell them that you're their god. If someone asks if you're a god, you say yes.
Fair. Everyone knows that.
All right, so what do you think I should tell them? Just tell them that I'm here on behalf of death
Not
to
even
make a deal with them.
You are the harbinger. You walk with the power and the cloak of death. You are here to, I don't know, just keep it vague. They might not want to die. Just tell them that, like, you're here to give them whatever it is that death promised. I don't know. Just say it like the preacher used to say it, but, you know, put a lot of death in there, in the positive.
What? What?
Angie, what do you think over there?
Project, just project like a god would.
Yeah.
Like speak with your chest. Be loud.
Here, like, take my jacket. It's covered in blood. It'll give you the look. All right, you don't even have to put it on. Just drape it over the shoulders.
You want me to walk behind you holding your jacket?
It's not a bad idea, actually.
That might not quite give it the look we want.
Just-
I don't know
The
what that
eyes
looks like.
blink and close for a moment, and you don't see them, and then what looks like a piece of darkness detaches itself from the front of the hut and flaps over to land on, and glides over and land on top of one of these lean-to looking things, which you realize are more kind of like perches. And it just sort of is then sitting and squatting down there, and the eyes reopen and they look down at you again, glowing. And then there's a shadow that seems to be passing over the ground of sort of, it's like a bird, sort of circling up above that.
All right, well, it's seen me already, so I think the jacket's kind of moot point at this point. So she's like tries to straighten up as much as she can, but she's kind of short. And she holds the scythe in front of herself. I have come on behalf of death. We are here to make a deal with you.
And so I presume you approach in order to be heard when you say this. Or do
Oh,
you...
yes, I was thinking it was kind of close to us.
Oh, yeah, so you get close enough. Okay. Intriguing. And the bird up above seems to fly down. It seems to be getting bigger and bigger. It lands sort of on the wood pile, and when it stands up, you can see it's another person that's got somebody wearing black, and they have the face mask of what looks like a raven, and the figure that's squatting on top of the lean-to rises up as well. It's got this cape billowing out, and it has bat wings, very large bat wings, that it flaps for a moment. As it looks down, its eyes still glowing. It's got a kind of a mask, you think, that's kind of like a bat. Its eyes glowing, it looks down, and then it looks over at the raven. It says, "Ah, hmm. And actually, I'm going to ask you to go ahead. There are going to be, so we'll have multiple parts, but I am going to ask you to make initially a trick roll, unless you have something else for interacting with cultists or what have you, to see if they will begin to parlay."
Let's see. Um, got my tall tale, if that would help with anything. I'll tell you her to explain the exact situation, scenario, monster, or curse in detail, and gives advice on how to handle it.
Let me look at that real quick. Okay, do you want to spend your tall tale?
Oh wait, so you use it once? Okay. I used it once.
Oh yeah, that was.
At the Sage Hen's place.
Okay, yeah. Was that the only one you had?
Yes, it says tall tale, so you use it once and it's expended.
Yeah, I mean it's a tale about that
Okay.
thing.
Okay, then I will. You said roll trick.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one? Okay, I'll use my fool's gold and roll +1 on trick.
Okay. Okay. So, an interesting thing happens when you do this. So the raven is just sort of like you hear it just basically as it sort of shifts back and forth, and the bat sort of is looking down and says, "I don't." Sees that and points to the raven. "I don't think Mary trusts you."
Mary! It's Mary! I start pointing.
The raven just sort of turns her head and looks at you.
She is like blushing and puts her face down.
Slowly starts approaching. The bat leaps and flaps over to the next closest lean-to, so that they're like almost like directly above you folks. And she looks down at you. And she says, "How about you have that? You have Death's weapon. How about that? Do you know how to use that?" Tell
Death
us why.
has spoken with me.
Why should we not just take it from you?
Death wants to use me as an instrument to wreak havoc. And if you try to take it from me, it will be used against you.
We are the instruments of death. Well, actually, no, wait. They wouldn't say that. She wouldn't say that. Hold on. Okay. So, you are simply In this race, you're simply allowing death to work through you. But we understand death. Do you not think it would be in better hands? We know death's game, and we understand how to play it. Are you willing to end the world? We are.
What does that mean? You just hear that chimed out from the back.
Yeah. By this point, Mary has reached you. She's sort of looking at you curiously through the mask.
What does ending the world mean? What does it entail?
Death brings an end to all, so they may have peace, says the bat.
Well, that ain't gonna happen.
I brought
Why
something
not?
else with us as well, as a bargaining tool.
Well, it is rather brash of you stating you work for death and then choosing to continue to bargain. But let's hear it. What would you have to offer us?
Who has the cauldron?
I think Angie might have the cauldron, but
Yeah.
it's a good question.
Just look over to Angie.
I believe Angie has it.
If you believe hard enough,
If I have to clap,
it will
I will.
materialize. It will materialize in Angie's possessions.
The bat is on one of the like lean-to things, and
Yes.
Mary is like close to us, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna try something.
Yes.
Angie is gonna take the cauldron and swing it at Mary
Oh
Try
my
it.
god.
and say, "Bargain this!"
Well, that's sure. Okay. So this is I believe this is going to be brawn if you
I'm not good at that. That's okay.
unless you got a move that involves attacking people with a cauldron artifact. Okay, that's an 8. So
That's a success, right?
it is a hit. It is a hit.
You hit Mary?
Yeah, you're gonna hit Mary. You're gonna hit Mary.
I scream, what about the baby?
And
Clearly, they ain't in a relationship no more. We should just let this play out. It ain't our business. Sooner it gets resolved, the sooner I get to touch the death stick.
okay, well, let's see. I'm just reading some instructions here, and I just want to make sure I understand them. Hang on a second. Oh, okay, all right. So let's see. That's an 8.
Oh no, her
So-
AC was a 9.
I know, right? No. So you roll back with this cauldron. You whack her with it, and I think what happens is that she's able to reach forward with what you see talons on the ends of her hands, and she's just able to kind of scrape you a little bit as you do so, and you're going to take 1 harm. But there is this sound as you hit her with the cauldron, a very satisfying bong that seems to, like, she comes back and she's, that sort of thrust, she falls back and is covering her ears, and immediately she, like, stumbles back, and you've done harm to her. She is sort of leaping backwards and flapping up back onto the wood pile. And I feel as though the bat is probably going to want to react to this. Yes. Okay. Yeah. She will just basically, the bat is going to rear up. How dare you? And you see that she's probably getting ready to swoop down on you all. Is anyone doing anything?
I will attempt to defend us from the bat. Basically by smacking it upside the head with a pickaxe.
I will watch John defend us from the bat.
I would use the scythe against it when there's a chance.
Okay. All right.
When it gets close enough, I'm going to try and take off one of its wings with my razor.
Okay.
So mean.
I know, right?
Just like catch it mid swoop. That's awesome.
Efficient.
Too many syllables in that word.
I know, right? So that is swooping down. John, do you have a move that you want to use here?
No, just the general defend or block or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
That's the backbone.
Yeah, for defend it's going to be I'm pretty sure it's going to be backbone, but I'm going to double check.
Backbone or brawl, and they're the same for me.
Oh yeah, it's attack and shield.
Oh, shield.
But,
okay.
Yeah, but they're the same for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. So that actually should have been a brawn roll, but that's if it's the same, then that's still an 11. So yeah. What weapon were you using?
That would be my pickaxe.
Your pickaxe, okay. So the pickaxe is how much harm does the pickaxe do?
3 harm, messy.
Gotcha. So you hit her with this pickaxe, and it seems to sink deeply, but she doesn't seem to be in any pain from it. As this darkness again, this is sort of as light is like almost falling into her as you hit her with this pickaxe. And you get this sense that while there is what seems to be, of course, very sort of something like blood is oozing out, but she doesn't seem to be fazed by it too much. It seems like, how do I, yeah. Well, no, I don't know.
It's been a big obstruction. It's not been all that damaging.
Yeah, it's like it's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's like there's There may be another way to get at this when you're if you want to kill her, but it's you're realizing that there may be a specific thing you have to do to kill her. Basically, I'm gonna just put that out there. This is what you learn from hitting her, and Amelia is going to we're going to step forward with the scythe at this point.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to give you first off. Do you have any moves that you want to use here?
No.
Okay. You have a choice. You can either just wield it like a weapon and use brawn, or you may attempt to tap into its power as you're swinging it, and instead you may use creep.
I'm going to try to tap into its power.
Okay. Let us see what happens. Oh.
Okay, and the other items, the blood from a stone, that's also expended after one use?
Hang on just a second. I'm just putting everyone back in their windows.
Sorry.
Hang on just a second.
I was like, uh-oh, I'm about to drop. I dropped. Ah.
Oh, no. No, it's no worries. No worries. What's the item you're using? Or you're thinking about using?
Blood from a stone.
Blood from a stone. Yeah, I'm probably is, but let me just check it to see if it's... Most of these are one-use items, but let me see.
Trying to find where it said stuff like that.
Yeah. It's going to be a one-use thing. So, like, if you drink it, then to increase your creep beforehand, you can do that, but then that'll be used up.
Okay, I used that earlier, so.
Oh, you did. Okay. Right. Okay, so that's a 7.
I am going to take a drink of my water to change it to 12.
Okay. Gulp,
See
gulp.
what happens here.
Is that the last of your water?
I have one more.
Okay. You fortify yourself as you're swinging. And so you get this feeling for a moment. And the feeling you get is like, okay. So you take one quick swing first as you're trying to tap in, and you're like, no, wait, not quite right, and you swing it back around, and you feel it's like, okay, if I were death, how would I wield this? And then you get it. And you do fully understand that this scythe wants to bring about the end of all living things. And that you fully get that that's what death wants to do. Or at least end as in have them pass on. And then they would be in the afterlife, and then that's, perhaps some strange way in which death has decided to protect all the souls. You feel that connection here. And you realize that you have a choice as you're bringing this scythe down. You have a choice to use the scythe to end this creature's life, or or merely to harm them? What do you choose?
It is attacking us and did not seem like our negotiations were going to go anywhere, so I will choose to end its life.
Okay. So, you bring the scythe down. And there is this moment when you feel the soul passing from this being. Because there's a difference between simply moving the scythe through a person and moving the scythe through that which connects a soul to a person. Anyone watching, it's hard to tell. It's like the scythe doesn't seem to do any physical damage. But it seems to pass through them. And the bat falls dead. As it hits the ground, you can see that its mask falls off, and it's a woman. She no longer has bat wings.
What in tarnation?
When that happens, Mary similarly falls from her perch. And is now just lying on the ground.
Does her mask fall off as well?
It's still on, but she doesn't seem to have wings right now. And she's just lying on the ground right now.
Go over, kind of prod her with the tip of my boot.
She turns. And she sort of rolls, basically, she turns to look at you.
What is your purpose out here?
And John hears. To bring peace.
She says to bring peace, I think.
Then
But she
what?
talks in that not talking business like Loam.
I mean, I've heard some stuff in my head too. Tony didn't hear, so you know. So, if you're here to bring peace, then why'd that one attack us? So you were trying to deal, not attack.
And she points to Angie, and then points to herself.
Angie's gonna hold the cauldron up and be like, "Yeah, we made a deal."
How much longer till your cat buddy gets back up here? Or maybe your owl friend.
I knew one of them from before. Not a nice group of people.
Where's the well?
So, in answer to John's question, Mary will essentially she will lift up her mask, and you will see that she has a face, and she's sort of tan skin, and she gestures up to Amelia, and John hears, "That's up to her."
She says it's up to you.
And then Dux, upon asking that question, she's just sort of, she stops and she's sort of sitting there and she looks back at you again, confused, and she's like, and John sort of hears, "Are you going to take all our water?"
Well, we came here for water. Is it there like a continuing well, or do you just have a cistern or something? Or is it some big magic hoodoo, this water represents all water sort of thing we're not really expecting to get into like it feels like it might be? Because I'll tell you, killing everybody wasn't on the table when we came up here in the first place. And I'll give Tony some side eye on that one. But
she shakes her head. She points to the big hut.
Think the water's in the big hut. But she's worried about us taking all her water. So I don't know.
How many of you are there here? Six? Do you serve death? Do you want to bring death to the world?
She points to she points to the bat's body, and John hears Lucretia did.
Apparently Lucretia, the bat lady, did.
What about the cat one?
She just kind of will just sort of shrug and she'll sort of like do like that.
And I'll look over at Amelia and go, apparently the cat, and I will mimic her gestures.
Okay, so we need water. But I mean, what's the plan here? We fill up our canteens and then make the whole trip back and don't have much more water? I mean, What do we plan on doing now that we're here?
Is there something special about this water?
Can we see the well? What time of day is it?
It is afternoon. It is early afternoon.
Yeah, Duck definitely wants to see the well.
Mary will stand up, if you'll permit it. And she will start heading to the hut.
I'll follow her.
Yep.
So, inside the hut, it looks actually in some ways similar to the inside of the Sage Hen's place, a little bit. There are certain things, although no books or anything, but it's there is an area where there's a lot of paraphernalia around this hut, of different different sort of occultic things, but there's all sort of death themed. And at the center of the hut, there is a well. And Mary will be careful, kind of, as she comes in, to sort of stand on the opposite side of the well, kind of as you all sort of are filtering in.
Is it just an open pit we could all fall into, or?
It is there's a little bit built up around it. It's I should say there's it has a kind of a frame constructed over it and some stones running around. It's a little bit wider than your standard, what you would picture a stone well. But it is a stone well, basically, that they have put here. And they have basically a your standard sort of rope and bucket set up.
Okay.
Can ducks get close and kind of look down into it?
Okay.
Like, I just want to stand and kind of look down.
All right.
Is it dark?
Ducks, I would like you to, as you're looking down into the depths of the well, could you make a creep roll for me?
Okay, 1 second, sorry. Creep. I just have to find. Why can't? Oh, okay. Creep roll. So if I can't see down, I'm going to ask someone for a match.
So, ducks, as you peer down into the well, it is a bit dark, but you fancy you see someone familiar winking at you.
I just can't. I'm like, does someone have a match? Can I see down here?
I'll give Ducks a light.
I will try to grab that light.
I'm gonna give you a book of matches from Angie's bar.
Oh, I love Angie's bar. I probably even have that.
So, is John attempting to intercept the matchbook?
I am.
All right. So, this now is where we're going to have a bit of an opposition here. Let me actually just look at something real quick. I'm sure they probably don't have specific rules for it, but I have an idea. Let me just check. Can I just check a thing real quick? Yeah. Okay. Huh. Yeah.
Well, if it makes
So-
any difference, I'll drink a water to succeed.
Okay. So here's the question. Now let's actually going to yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Um, so let us see here if I might ask. So John, you are preparing to try to see if there's like an I'm just looking at a couple of things. I'm looking at a couple of things there. Yeah, go ahead.
In my mind,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm looking to do is Tony starts to hand the pack of matches. I'm just going to reach out and go whap, knock it out of her hand, let it toss to the floor, and start the Temple of Doom style scramble for the thing on the floor.
Well, so that we can just make an attempt here. Go ahead if you would, and just do a brawn roll for me real quick, just so that I can see where things might land. But I want to see just sort of. Oh, hey, okay. Yeah. So you reach forward, and you're sort of like, wait, what? And the matches are going to land in Dux's hand. It seems.
All right.
As this is going on.
I'm gonna look over at John. Did you just fucking touch me? What just happened? What? Man asked
Don't
for a
give
light.
him matches. He's not trying to see nothing.
While they're talking, I light a match and light
He's about
the
to pull dynamite
fuse
out of
halfway
his
down and drop it.
pants.
So this now is the point at which I just want to ask is as this is happening, Dux, are you going to try to you're basically as so you want to throw the thing down there?
My thought is I was going to light the fuse halfway down, because if I don't, it might hit the water and not explode.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And just drop it.
Now, this would be, I think, is going to be a. I think the best way to look at this, would be.
Well, at this point, Tony and I are engaged in a conversation.
Yeah, the two of you are kind of engaged,
so
it's,
we're not stopping him.
Yeah, it's going to happen, unless anyone else wants to attempt anything. But I think that, pretty much, you do the thing. I think that everyone has an opportunity to see the thing happening.
Like that.
And
I say, we got this. After it happens, I put my thumb up.
There is an explosion down below you. Speaking of Temple of Doom, there is there's an explosion, and then the mesa begins rocking.
Give water to the people.
Did you just blow up the well?
There's sort of a
No,
lot
I
of
freaked the
dust
water.
and debris and rocks are coming up from the well, and that's coming down. It's raining down. It's starting to get a little dangerous. What's everybody doing?
Stumble back out of the hut.
Ground is rumbling. The mesa is rumbling. Something's happening.
All right.
I'm hanging near Amelia. I'm just waiting for all this to be over.
I'm going to try something kind of stupid and say, everybody hold my hands. Anyone?
Muted.
Should I
Marlo, you-
run? Or should
I
I?
stumbled. I moved back out of the hut. Are you still inside?
No, I'm coming out of the hut with you.
Yeah. So, yeah, running is an option here. But if folks want to hang out and do the thing, you can. We're welcome to do the thing. What's going on?
Dux is gonna sit down. He thinks he did what he was supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
so he's happy.
Okay.
And he looks at Angie and he goes, "You're welcome."
For what? You blew up the goddamn well.
Death can't win anymore.
What?
Jagged line is starting to come through the middle of the mesa, sort of starting to crack it in half.
Amelia, in case you die, it's my turn with the stick now.
Hey, we didn't get her water yet. She's not giving it up yet.
Come on! It's on its way! Ducks took care of it. It'll make its way down there. You can see the schism happening right over there. Water
Get out
flows
of here
downhill.
first. And she takes off.
Yeah, the ground is
God!
the ground is very unstable right now.
Chasing after Amelia.
Cultists are running.
It is Temple of Doom.
John, were you about to try to do something?
Yeah, I'm gonna. What I want to do is try and get people together, you know, in as close a bunch as I can, and wildly misuse my sloth power and try to surface down the side of the hill.
That sounds exciting. Is anyone going with John? You can.
Angie's flabbergasted. She hasn't gone anywhere. She's still standing there, so she's gonna go with John, I guess.
Okay.
Already started running.
Yeah. Amelia's running down the hill. What's Tony doing?
Tony is wherever Amelia is. It's my turn with the death stick.
Tony's running after Amelia. And Dux, are you
And-
just staying up there?
Yeah, and now Dux realizes he has a feather.
Mm-hmm.
He thought he was out of water. He has a feather. It lets him get one more drink,
Oh, yeah.
and he enjoys his drink sitting there.
Okay. Yeah, you're sort of like...
I'm gonna grab your hand.
Yeah. You can drink with one hand. That's okay. All right. So now the
And-
time... Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess I'll try to save the three of us that I got.
Yep. All right. So this is the...
It's another one of those backbone or brawn, I forget which, but they're
What's this
both plus
called?
twos. Sloth?
Sloth.
Backbone.
Ah, excellent. Yep. Backbone. Make it a backbone. Okay, 7 to 9. The earth crumbles around one of your enemies, causing +2 harm. On a failure, your rage takes over. Okay, no, you got a success. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, you're good. And you're trying to basically use it to get down the hill quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah! So you're creating this. Dux and Angie and John are sort of swept together into this strange sort of bowl.
John's wild dirt flume ride. Woo!
Nice.
And you go careening down the side of this mesa. Getting a few
I'm
bumps
not
and
sure
bruises
how
on the way down.
stopping's gonna work.
Uh-oh.
You come tumbling down as this mesa is basically being torn apart. Amelia and Tony, you run. There are a couple of points where you have to jump to get over a place where it's split in half. Like a few of the cultists tumble down the side, they don't make it. And but eventually, finally there's this one final as Amelia and Tony are heading down, and you're propelled momentarily through the air and
nice.
down to the ground, which isn't too far at that point. So you're not overly harmed as you tumble out. As the earth, as the earth continues to crack, and so Amelia specifically, you actually have caught yourself by the scythe next to this big rift in the earth that you're now directly next to, that goes down. You don't know how far. And as Dux and Angie and John sort of come down, you see, flowing from somewhere in the middle of the mesa down, is this little waterfall that comes out and has formed a pool at the base of the mesa. There is
You're
water.
welcome.
See, Amelia? There's the water.
I mean, I said he could have the stick for 24 hours afterward.
Mhm.
Are you really ready to start the 24 hours right away?
I got nowhere to be.
Oh, we should at least fill up our canteens first.
Fine.
Angie, coming with us?
No, I'm staying the hell away from y'all. I'm gonna stay here by this water. And she's like not dove into the water, obviously, but she's like underneath it, like letting it run over her face, and she's got this wild-eyed look as water just runs. I knew water was coming. I had hope. I knew it.
I do take a moment to try and wash my hands, but they end up looking dirtier than when I put them in the water.
And yeah.
Because it's Angie broth.
Oh no, it's there's so much more going on. Yeah, you'll see sort of you'll see Loam just sort of standing and nodding. And
Duck is laying down.
kind of
All right,
And
Tony has
he'll
said he
kind
could
of-
have it for.
he'll kind of put his hand on John's shoulder real quick, and John, you hear him say, "You may want to ask Angie to catch some in the cauldron. It's kind of why I brought her here."
Ah. Hey, Angie.
And
While you're muted and splashing around out there, how about you fill that cauldron with the magic waterfall?
She's like, okay. Reaches over and grabs it and puts it under the waterfall.
the water looks, as you're sort of filling it up, it actually looks a little clearer than the water that's coming down, which is weird. But there it is. You now have a cauldron full of water. It looks... There's something about it that's sort of tickling the back of your mind, your lore mind, that is telling you that the ability to put the water into the cauldron at this time was very important. And that you kind of had to be the one to do it.
Way to go.
Because you're expecting.
Oh, I'm going to put it up at the mesa. Her water broke. I get it now.
I feel as though that's the best possible line we can end on. So I think we're going to close the session there. But we will do a brief coda for folks. as we go around finally, as we pan away from this mesa, as things have been sorted out after a fashion. And I kind of want to see what... Imagine, if you will, if this were like the end of a movie and we get to see a montage showing kind of the fates of all of these people. And you can leap a bit further into the future if you like, each of you, as you're telling me what's the last thing we see of your character. And we will go around and do that. I'm just going to ask those who have it to volunteer. I'm not going to make you necessarily go in a particular order. Feel free to So who has a final little bit that we see? What's the last we see of your character?
I'd kind of like to go last.
Ducks.
Up to everyone.
Ducks doesn't make it more than an hour more.
Mm.
When he's laying next to the fountain, he's mumbling about Senor Buttercup and the consumption that he claimed was healed finally consumes him as he's laying there drinking the water out of the fountain or the waterfall.
Mm.
Before handing the scythe over to Tony, Amelia would want to clarify with her. I said you could have it for 24 hours, so you can give it back after that?
If I am still able to walk, if I'm still able to bring it back to you, y'all will have it back in your hand in 24 hours.
Pinky promise?
Pinky promise.
All right. She hands it over. I'm going with you, though, remember?
Of course. More than welcome to walk with me. And as we walk across the barren wasteland, weaving between caskets, we eventually find ourselves at the entrance to a giant burrow. It is easily a story tall. It smells of iron and rot. You can hear things moving in the dark. And I look over at Amelia. Are you sure you want to do this?
I'm going if you're going.
Lovely! Into the underground, into the night. Oh, this will be such fun. And we walk in.
Nice.
So the shot is Angie just still under the waterfall with the cauldron in front of her, just like it's done, it happened. And then it kind of like fades out and fades back in, back at the bar. And the sign that used to say Angie's Place has been replaced, and it says Dux's Place, because after she passed, she wanted to name it after him. And I imagine there's more patrons. People are coming back to the area. There's water now. It's like not such a blighted land. And it's a hopping business. There's music inside and everything. And she's sweeping off the front. And she sets the broom up and smiles and kind of looks up in the sky. And then I imagine it fades out from her.
I do just want to actually briefly, as a brief little add-on to that, ask if. Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna do my afters after. Sorry, let Joel go.
If I was thinking far into the future. All right.
Sure.
So the camera kind of looks across the lone desert, and all of a sudden you see some dust, and you zoom in on it, and you're thinking, it's going to be a rider, and it's a Tesla, and it's on the paved road, and it goes into the bustling town of Pine Valley, past, the giant entertainment complex that Dux's has become, and comes to a stop in front of the large, really large Pine Valley Elementary School, where John gets out and goes in to be the translator for the madmen who have come out of the wastes to talk to the kids at Career Day.
Brilliant.
And if any of those little kids sitting in there happen to have a strong family resemblance to anybody who's been in this adventure, that's the way it is.
Indeed. So, among the things that final images I just want to throw out, I kind of wanted to let it be known that if the cauldron had an unusual or interesting property, I was going to ask Angie what you think that might be.
Even the smallest sip can quench any person's thirst.
And so it was. And I think one of the final things that we'll see, even unto the future, these ghostly images, Loam slowly walking back across the desert, and next to him, on a spectral horse, we see the spirit of Dux as they look over everything. And thus ends Casket Land. Thank you all very much for playing. I appreciate it. Sorry we ran over, but it's finales. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go around and do our outros, and we'll ask folks, feel free to tell everyone where they can find you and any final thoughts you had about this campaign. And we will start with Joel.
Well, I really enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the setting. I enjoyed the players. I had a nice time with you, Jim. It's always a pleasure. So, and I just really liked the feel, the kind of grit. Things aren't going to go well. Things aren't going to go well. Don't expect things to go well. Kind of feel that it all had. And the fact that it ended up going well was really kind of surprising. But I got nothing necessarily to point you to on the web, but go out there and be kind to one another and enjoy math while you can. Math is good stuff. Don't be afraid of it.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you so much for playing. John was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for giving me the flexibility on him.
I had way too much fun with his lore and abilities. And let us now head over to Marlo.
Hey, I'm Marlo. You can find me on Twitter at Marlo Bogwitch. That's with 2 G's in Bog. I do a lot of different things, a lot of one-shots, got some projects coming up in the not-so-distant future. I'm also on a 5e actual play podcast called Sins of the Father. Check us out. It blurs the line between audio drama and actual play. So editing's real clean. I say that. I'm tooting my own horn because I'm the editor too. I'm a player and editor. So check me out. And thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, Jim. I had so much fun.
Yay! Thank you very much for playing. I really liked Angie as a character, and I kept feeling it's like I'm so glad that Angie is here to hold people together. This worked out so well.
The glue, it works.
All right, and yeah, if that's all for final thoughts for you, and then we will go over to Kenny.
Jim had a great time. Casket Land was new. glad you gave Ducks some leeway to be Ducks. Enjoyed playing with everyone. I really did think that was going to happen, as ridiculous as that dynamite thing was. That's what I thought, because I was working with the trickster, and if the death cult and death didn't want everyone to have the water, and it's trickster versus death, I figured that I was in a good place. Had a good time though. Enjoy everybody. Keep an eye. I don't have any social media or anything that you guys need to look at, but do keep an eye out for Alyx and I doing spectaculars. You can't see it, but because of the background, but we're going to be doing a mini campaign on spectaculars by Scratchpad Publishing, which should be a good time. So
awesome, excellent. No, Dux was a very fun character. And I just felt, as these things were going along, I felt like Dux was getting so put upon to a certain extent throughout this whole thing. I kind of really wanted to give him a win.
Well, the funny thing is, that was before you said roll creep. My plan all along was to ask for a light.
That's the funny part. We were thinking the same thing. But very cool, very cool. Thanks so much for playing.
Yeah, definitely.
It was awesome. And now let us head over to Kestrel.
I am Kestrel Ray. You can find me on social media, mostly on Twitter with that name. I'm starting a Patreon tomorrow for cosplay. Been trying to not think about how anxious I am about that, but it should be fun. Well, now this is over, I don't have any ongoing games on stream. Might be on in a couple of weeks. I was in a Monster Hearts game on Saturday with friends who rolled dice, and it was amazing, and we all wanted to keep going, so we will probably have a session 2 for what was a one-shot coming up in a couple weeks. So keep an eye out for that, because Monster Hearts is amazing. Yes, that's all I've got coming up anytime soon.
Awesome. That's very cool. It's very cool. Glad to hear that. Do you have any final thoughts about the session or the campaign?
It was really interesting. Yeah, I kind of just expected everybody to die, or at least half of us. So I went into it planning my character of, okay, I want to create a character I like and be connected to her, but not go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to hold on to this character because she's probably going to die. So it was, a pleasant surprise that we didn't all die. It was really interesting how it all turned out, too. I'm really intrigued by what all can be done with games like this. I guess at this point, everything I've played now is powered by the apocalypse. And just the room there is for exploring it in the way that you want to and making it your own game. So I was excited to get to do a mini campaign of something like that, and the setting on this was fascinating too.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for playing. I loved Amelia, and thank you also for rolling with the strangeness that I was starting to put upon Amelia's shoulders. It's just sometimes I hear someone comes from a cult and I'm like, time to break out the prophecies.
It was good. I think it was good for me as a player to be like, okay, I built this character knowing she could die. It's okay to push it a little bit and do something I don't normally do as a player, which is, yeah, sure, let's go off while the rest of the party's asleep and go attack the danger.
Awesome, absolutely. And now finally over to Alyx.
Hey, so yeah, Alyx, they, them. You can find me on Twitter if anywhere, and it's on the art here somewhere. I had a lovely time, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing a little more Casket Land at some point. I have a pile of so many indie short games that I need to get through, but it's in the pile now. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, it was lovely playing with all of you. Had a blast. Hope to see y'all at the table again soon, or at least on another stream at some point. And I think that's it.
Oh, very cool. And thank you so much. Tony was a really fun character. I just loved the concept, and it was very neat to see things. I loved the way that you chose to end it with just sort of walking into the cave. That was really neat. Very, very cool.
It's a bunny burrow.
Yes. Curse those wabbits.
Or it was. Dun, dun,
It was.
dun.
Who knows? Who
Who
knows?
knows what we did to it?
Well, that leaves me. Once again, I'm Jim Ryan. I had a lot of fun with this campaign. I really enjoyed the idea of the setting. I do feel like it's still, what it says in the documents. It's still an alpha document, but I think folks definitely who are interested in Casket Land to go forth and check it out. I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat there for anyone who wants to leap into that. Casket-land.com, and it's got a very distinct flavor that I particularly enjoy. There is another scenario called Cruach coming out at some point. I don't know quite what it's about, but I can't remember quite what it's about. But I kickstarted it. Hopefully, it'll be coming out sometime soon.
That's the cult Amelia was from.
It could be.
That is interesting.
I kind of am. I'm eager to see if this gets developed eventually into like a full game, because right now this is just an ash can, and so like I said, it calls itself an alpha document. I'd be interested to see if they fully develop it out with like more like meteor moves, like a lot of other PBTA settings have, or what they choose to do with it. Very curious to see how that would go. So just want to keep an eye on that. But I enjoyed I enjoyed the flavor. I liked that we did get a lot of leeway with it. But I do want to see what comes of it in the future very much. But as for me, you can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. Once again, just as a reminder, this channel is currently doing a donation drive for the Bale Project via primarily its Sprawl campaign. The members of Sprawl are the big contributors that we are, Team Phyllis. So if you want to check that out, I just put the link to that in the chat as well. That is a charity that helps to provide bail assistance to protesters, which is incredibly important right now. So do check that out. Once again, also feel free to check out Campaign Zero, which is an organization that does a lot of research and provides aid to folks trying to end police violence. And so very highly recommend checking those out. So on this channel, Thursday night, we have the Sprawl, as we are entering our last mission with our MC Brian, and I get to play a very kind killer cyborg. Very, very, very much looking forward to that. On Saturday nights, I run Invisible Sun, The Edge of Paradox. Coming close to the end of this season, finally. It's been about a year. We're getting there. Very long seasons with that one we have. On Sundays, we do one-shots. The one-shot this Sunday afternoon will be The Deep Forest, which is based on The Quiet Year. It is a map-drawing game about a group of monsters with a year of living through a year of relative peace after human colonizers have left. Or been driven off. And so it's a lot of fun, and I'm very much looking forward to the game this Sunday. And of course, Sunday evenings, we have our Dark Matter campaign, Ghosts of Saltmaw. It's Ghosts of Saltmarsh in Space, run by Alyssa. Very awesome game, that one. And then, of course, Monday nights, I am over on Salty Sweet Games, playing in their 5e campaign, Strange Invasion, Assault on the Barrier Peaks. And finally, Tuesday night, 1 week from tonight, shall be the premiere of our July mini campaign, which will be 50 Fathoms. This is a Savage Worlds game, about a fantasy game that is pirate themed, in basically a fantasy world with all manner of nautical creatures, and various nautical themed races. We've got our group together. I cannot wait to get cracking on it, and sort of see where we take that. Because we had a one shot here, I enjoyed it a lot, and I want to see what happens if we do a short arc. Gonna have a lot of fun with that, I think. So right now, no signups are technically open, but I'm very soon going to throw signups up for some one shots of Stille Nacht, which is a sort of a historical ghost storytelling game. Storytelling game. And also there will be a one shot in July of Monster of the Week. That one, which we're going to have Pope coming in and guest emceeing that one. Very much looking forward to that. Guest keepering that one. I believe you're the keeper in Monster of the Week. And for Stille Nacht, we have Kat coming in and doing guest jamming on one of those one shots, and I'll be running the other. So very much looking forward to those. When those are up, you'll be able to go down and click on RPG sign up, or go to JimmyS.Gym and click on JimmyS.Gym.com and click on game sign up. As always, beginners are welcome. So let's see. When we hit the end card, there are. Let's see what's happening right now. I think Katie is playing a Bigfoot game, if that's still going on. Yes, that's happening. Let us go and raid. Let us go and raid Katie. They're raising money for Rain. So I'm going to go over there and say hi to her. Feel free to hang on and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.
Take care.
Bye.